Welcome back to Last Saw Sports Talk. Today is Tuesday, June 2nd, 2026, and here on episode 118, I'm with Kean Kropp and Carson Kropp. I'm Cody Kropp. We're back with you here to talk about our NFL draft grades for every NFC team today. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive right into it. We'll go over every single team, division by division, like we do, and we'll give little snippets on the players they drafted and let you know who they drafted. And we're going to start it off with the NFC North, starting off with the Chicago Bears. Round one, they got safety Dylan Thieneman. Round 2, center Logan Jones. Round 3, tight end Sam Roush. Also in round 3, wide receiver Xavier Thomas. In round 4, they picked up corner Malik Muhammad. Round 5, linebacker Keyshawn Elliott. Round 6, defensive tackle Jordan Vandenberg. So with that first round pick there, I want to talk a little bit about safety Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon. Just an absolute dog. He was arguably the best or favorite safety out of this class. Of course, there was Caleb Downs.
Right.
But Dylan Thieneman was probably my guy, I think, for all of us. If I'm not
just me and you.
Okay, just
Carson
me and you. Carson hater.
I don't think he should be in the NFL.
But yeah, anyways, this is a big motor guy. He's got the size. He's got the speed. He's a super versatile type of player. He's one of your can't-miss prospects, in my opinion. He's a tackle monster. Through college, he had 306 tackles, 8 picks, and that's just through 3 of his seasons. He's fast to close, very instinctive, and very smart. He's like your green dot type of guy, could be. So, yeah, I think this was a great pick by the Bears.
In the second round, the Bears got Logan Jones out of Iowa, and this is really just a replacement pick. So, in the offseason, Drew Dalman retired, and then they did end up bringing in out of New England, Garrett Bradbury.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, but he is 30 years old, so I think that Logan Jones may be their idea of a long-term center replacement. He's undersized for a center for sure. He's under 300 pounds, only 30 3/4 inch arms, but he has the technique to make up for it, as you'd expect an Iowa prospect to have.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the Bears must like what they see in him because they did draft him fairly high compared to the other centers that were still on the board. But overall, he performed amazing in college. Just his small size worries me for the NFL.
In the third round, this was an interesting pick to me. They picked up Sam Roush, tight end from Stanford. And this was interesting because obviously they've already got Colston Loveland just drafted last year, and they still got Cole Kmet there. So I don't know if they're hoping for a multi-tight end setup, probably. But I just thought it was kind of interesting. But for Sam Roush, he's got great size. He's a very good blocker with a really nice, tough play style. Super athletic, especially for his size. And he's a tough guy to bring down with the ball, so he can get you some yak too, and dishes some punishment at the end of the play also. He's kind of like what I love most about him is his old school tight end play style and his toughness. He's not the quickest or fastest guy out there. He's not super elusive in routes. He's not going to wow you with moves, but he's just your solid tight end prospect. So that just leads you to believe that the Bears are going to try to do something with deeper tight end sets.
Yes. Yeah, that's what the NFL is going to a lot. In the third round also was wide receiver Xavier Thomas out of LSU. So Thomas and the other LSU wide receivers, they bounced around the consensus board really all throughout the pre-draft process. None of us watched him before the draft, but I figured I needed to now that he went 89th overall to a team that now has a competition at wide receiver 3 because they traded away DJ Moore to the Bills. So Xavier Thomas has mostly been used as a gadget player and return man throughout his college career. He had 1 punt return touchdown, 2 kick return touchdowns throughout his career, but he can really plant and turn with hard cuts. He ran a 4.28 40-yard dash, and that actually does show up on his film, and I can honestly see the potential if he works on running his routes with purpose, because right now he's just kind of out there lollygagging because he knows he's the better or one of the best athletes on the field whenever he was at LSU. So there is honestly some potential there, and it's intriguing to watch Xavier Thomas.
In the fourth round, they took corner Malik Muhammad out of Texas, and this is a guy that's a playmaker. He has great instincts, a great mind. He's always seeing the entire field to go make a play on the ball. He predicts routes and jumps routes to make a play, and then he's just smooth and controlled overall. Just lacks a little size, but there is not a lot of pressure on him coming in, even though the Bears did lose a lot of their secondary pieces in the offseason, losing Nashawn Wright to the Jets, Shaquan Brisker left, Kevin Byard, their interception monster, went to the Patriots. CJGJ was there for a little bit, but their corner room is still strong. They have Tyreek Stevenson and Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, and then at the nickel. So he's going to be the corner 3 right off the rip. So there's not a lot of pressure on him as you'd expect for a 4th-round pick. But I think that he has the playmaking and mind and instincts to make it if one of these guys were to go down.
Mm-hmm. Keyshawn Elliott enters a pretty crowded linebacker room with a lot of guys who have played significant NFL snaps, but he was pretty highly regarded on the consensus big board at number 128. The guys that are kind of there, though, that might prevent him from playing time are TJ Edwards, stays. They got rid of Tremaine Edmonds, but Devin Bush they brought in, and DeMarco Jackson, Ruben Hippolyte, and Noah Sewell have been guys that have just been backups for them for a long time. And Jack Sanborn came back from Dallas, who was he was drafted by the Bears. But so Keyshawn Elliott might not see the field immediately, and he also missed 19.1% of his tackles throughout his college career. And honestly, I think he's just kind of average athletically, but I think he does look instinctive, and he's honestly pretty predictive in the second level of a defense. So maybe he does play a role in the future, just probably not this year right off the bat. One question that I had just before we get into our grades, I am still so aggravated, and I talked about this every single year about the Bears. Still no pass rush help. Are you serious? Mm-hmm. Every year that we've had this podcast, I've emphasized how the Bears need pass rush help with Montez Sweat. It's idiotic at this point. In 2025, besides Montez Sweat, they had one defensive lineman with a PFF pass grade over 70. Or pass rush grade over 70. And that was Gervon Dexter with a 72.7. There was no defensive lineman with more than 38 pressures, which was also Gervon Dexter, which ranked 70th in the NFL among defensive linemen, that being edges and defensive tackles. So just one defensive lineman with a pass rush win rate over at least 11%, which was Dominique Robertson with 11% exactly, which ranked 99th in the NFL among defensive linemen. So these are your second best guys along and
he's now gone, by the way.
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah, these are your second best guys performing along the D-line behind Montez Sweat. That's not going to cut it. So as a team in 2025, the Bears ranked just 22nd in quarterback pressure rate at just 21.1%, which is not very good at all for a team with Super Bowl dreams, and they still didn't address it. But overall, there were some good pieces that I feel like they brought in. I love Dylan Thieneman. I don't think he should have fell up to 25, and they scooped him up. Logan Jones is going to be solid, and honestly, I see the vision with a lot of these players. Just I'm so pissed off about the no pass rush help, so I gave him a B-.
I'm right there with you. I gave him a B- just because of that. That pass rush thing really brings him down, in my opinion, too. But everywhere else where they added, I think they're solid. Like, I think Dylan Thieneman, like I said, he's a can't miss. Like, for him to fall that deep, you have to pick the guy there, and he'll be tremendous on any team. Like you said, Logan Jones, I like him too. I think he'll add a good piece, and the NFL is going to tight end set, like heavy tight ends. So I think they added very smartly, except from the whole pass rush deal.
I'm going C+, and that is mostly dropped down by their 3rd-round pick, Sam Roush.
Yeah, true.
I think this team is pretty well ready to win right now, as they showed last year. And when you already have Colson Lovell and Cole Kmet there, I think that 3rd-round pick could have gone to pass rush, so that's what dropped him down to a C+. So everything else I like about this draft for them.
The Detroit Lions, 1st round, they got offensive tackle Blake Miller. 2nd round, edge Derek Moore. 4th round, linebacker Jimmy Rolder. 5th round, corner Keith Abney II, and also wide receiver Kendrick Law. 6th round, defensive tackle Skylar Gill Howard. And 7th round, defensive tackle Tyree West. So in that 1st round there, they got offensive tackle Blake Miller from Clemson. My guy for me. This is like your Iron Man type of right tackle primarily is what he played, but just super tough. He started all of his games in college. Massive guy, big frame, long arms, everything you want in an offensive tackle. Super athletic, and his lateral quickness is also super impressive. I really like that, and he's got the perfect offensive lineman mentality of, I'm going to finish the play and I'm going to slam you through the turf 10 yards down the field. And it's awesome to watch. So he can sometimes get playing upright, which is what's kind of concerning about his game. But I think he'll be great. He's your Dan Campbell type of offensive tackle. He'll slide right into probably a starting spot since they had those few losses on the line. So I'm super pumped up about it. I think he'll be a perfect fit in Detroit.
He's an Iron Man. And I wanted to talk about their 2nd-round pick, Derek Moore, because I had him way higher than Carson did. Carson had him at edge 19. I had him at edge 6. And I felt pretty good that he got drafted in the middle of the second round. Everything that he does in pass rush, to me, it looks so subtle, but he's just so effective because he's so smooth with it. The quickness in his hand usage, the cuts in the phone booth, the ability to keep an offensive tackle from slowing him down. He had 3 seasons of 400-plus snaps on a great Michigan defense, increasing his pressure number and pass rush grades every year. My comp for him was Kyle Van Noy. Not an elite athlete or edge who can take over a game, but he's been a player who's been consistently good as a rotational pass rusher throughout his career because he's savvy. The Lions have been looking for an edge across from Aiden Hutchinson since he joined the team in 2022. So if they drafted Derek Moore at number 44, they must think that they found something in Moore. So I'm rooting for Derek Moore as my edge 6 here. And then their 4th-round pick, Jimmy Rolder. After letting Alex Anzalone go this offseason, following many years as a leader and staple in this Lions defense, they drafted Jimmy Rolder at number 118, which is honestly, I feel like, pretty high praise in my eyes. He's just a 1-year starter in college, but Rolder plays with strength and resilience. He battled with injuries all throughout college, but when he was on the field and powering downhill at the quarterback or running back, you can see why Dan Campbell would like him. So I feel like that one makes sense to me whenever I watched Jimmy Rolder.
In the 5th round, the Lions took corner Keith Abney, the second out of Arizona State. And to get this corner in the 5th round, I think is a steal. He's Keaton's corner 7, my corner 10. This guy's just smooth, balanced, sticky in coverage. He has great hand placement to force incompletions. Good wrap-up, even though he is an undersized corner, which is really the biggest knock for him. But once again, he's a late-round corner that is coming into a room where he doesn't have pressure right away. But I do like the vision of them getting this guy to replace Terrion Arnold.
Yeah.
Because they didn't really have any positional losses in the offseason. They lost Arthur Mollett and Amik Robertson, but their 2 starting corners are still there, and Terrion Arnold and DJ Reed. Rocky Sin's there, too, for a depth piece, and then Roger McCreary in the slot. So Keith Abney, I think he could play anywhere as the corner position. So once again, if anybody gets injured, I think he's going to be someone you can really trust throwing him into the game.
I agree. One of the only positions that I don't like the Lions drafting because I think they suck at it is wide receiver. Outside of Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think feels like the rest of the wide receivers they've tried to draft have just not turned out the way they wanted to. Teslaw's still young, but Jameson Williams, you can't say he's worth a 1st-round pick now that we see him in the NFL so far. But Kendrick Law, I don't think he's a true wide receiver in my eyes. He's a yak and kick return weapon. I wasn't at all impressed with this film at wide receiver. He was my wide receiver 39. But he's a fine lad to bring in to hopefully learn from the incoming veteran Greg Dortch, who's now on the team. So I think that he can maybe learn to play a role similar to what Greg Dortch does. Just something short, get some yak. That's really all you got to do.
They're just trying to find their Khalif Raymond replacement.
Yeah, they are. Honestly, that's really what it is. Yeah, but all up and down this depth chart, this team has depth with lots of solid players who have good NFL experience. This team, honestly, to me, in my eyes, really looks like it's built and ready to go the distance now. They struggled at points last year without their offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. I mean, I feel like that's kind of to be expected anytime you lose an offensive coordinator. Now maybe they'll get something back on track because I think this roster is really, really good. But overall, just talking about the draft, I gave them a C+. I wasn't overall impressed. Cody was higher on their 1st-round pick than I was, and then I feel like there were still some head scratchers. I guess just Dan Campbell guys that we might not understand, but Dan Campbell will definitely understand.
I gave them just a solid B because I think they might not have hit it out of the park with their first 2 picks, but they were looking for third base. I think they might have got a triple here, so I think that's why it's a solid B. Like I said, I love Blake Miller. I think he'll be a perfect fit for Detroit. And to actually pay attention to an edge and give them a true edge weapon, hopefully. In the 2nd round to finally help Aiden Hutchinson, I think it's a great pick. And then those other guys, I think they'll be pretty solid. Except for I don't really like the wide receiver, but just a solid B.
Oh, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm gonna go B. I don't know why I went that low.
The disrespect.
Yeah, because I really like Keith Abney too. I think Keith Abney's gonna be a solid player.
Yeah.
In the 5th round is crazy.
I'm going to look terrible here, but I'm actually going to go D+.
Oh, yeah.
And that's because I don't love anybody in this draft class outside Keith Abney. I think Blake Miller is going to be good, but my biggest knock on him was he has so much experience that you kind of already know exactly what you're getting. So there's pros and cons to that. I trust Dan Campbell, but me personally, if I were to draft this team, I would give myself a D+.
Green Bay Packers in the 2nd round, they got corner Brandon Cisse. 3rd round, defensive tackle Chris McClellan. 4th round, edge, denied Dennis Sutton. 5th round, center, Yager Burton. 6th round, corner, Damani Jackson. And also in the 6th round, they got kicker Trey Smack.
Fantastic.
Great
for a kicker.
So the Packers' first pick, corner Brandon Cisse out of South Carolina. He was Kian's corner 8, my corner 7. This is a guy that it seemed like other people had ranked higher than Keen and I did.
Yeah.
And there's no doubt that he is good in the run game. He has quick reactive feet to break downhill. And I even wrote that it looks like he enjoys playing run support much more than he does playing coverage. And I think that's his problem. He doesn't really have the athletic burst to like close down on a route quickly. Doesn't have great ball skills. Sometimes he just kind of sits at the top of the route and doesn't. He's not a glue guy in coverage. And I think that he needs to work on that. But there is a path to playing time here. He comes into a corner room of a bunch of not really big name, unproven young guys that have been overperforming what people expected of them, with Keyshawn Nixon, who was just a return man, and now he's a good corner, actually. Evan Williams moved to free safety. He was a corner. Then Carrington Valentine, Benjamin St. Juste. So I think there is a path to playing time here, but
He could be CB1.
yeah, he could be CB1, but I just don't love the pick.
Yeah, and I understand that too. We are definitely lower on him than consensus, and he dropped to 52, and honestly, I feel like we're pretty right then.
Yeah.
The fact that he dropped to late 2nd round. But I wasn't high on Chris McClellan either in the 3rd round. He was my defensive tackle 15. They drafted him 77th overall with the intention of him fighting to earn playing time. None of their DTs earned overall defensive PFF grades above 52.9 in 2025.
Ooh.
So while I think Chris McClellan really does need to work on his hand fighting to become a better pass rushing threat, or needs to put on weight to become a better run stopper, a positive thing that he does bring is athleticism, bend, and power shooting the B gap between the guard and tackle. That is one thing that he was very good at. It's just that he's a weird, he's got the length that he would be a solid pass rusher, but his best plays show up in the run game, and he's like right around 300 pounds. He's not like that huge 330 mark. It's like you're a pass rusher who's best in the run game. It's just like a weird combo that he has right now.
The Packers' 4th round pick was edge denied Dennis Sutton out of Penn State. This is a guy that Keenan and I saw differently. I have him at 9. Keenan has him at 15. I love this guy for his hot motor, his versatility to play edge or D-end. Then he just has a nose to hunt down the football. I compared him to a detuned, less explosive Brian Burns. And I really like the thought process here with the Packers. They need some pass rush. They need someone that can get to the quarterback. But as much as I like the Dennis Sutton, I don't think this is the path I would go. They already have the big edge in Lucas Van Ness. And then they have Javon Hargrave on the nose. I think they need some speed guy, and I don't think that the Dennis Sutton is going to do that for them. I think he's going to be a great edge D-end guy. And he'll provide them some kind of pass rush and support in the run game, but I think with the players currently on this roster, he doesn't mesh super well.
Yeah, you like denied Dennis Sutton quite a bit, which is pretty high praise considering you hate Penn State.
Yeah, I do hate
or
Penn
you're just
State
hard
guys.
on them.
Yeah.
The Packers let Elgton Jenkins and Rasheed Walker walk in free agency. So Yager Burton comes in as more depth along their O-line. Burton bends his back more than he bends at the hips, so he kind of moves downfield like a troll running like this. I worry about him kind of reaching the way that he just moves like that. But I do think he honestly plays pretty well despite his questionable technique. He's not a long-term starter in the NFL, but I do think he could improve with some NFL coaching. And then their cornerback, Damani Jackson, again, we talked about how kind of depleted their cornerback room is since last year. They really overperformed, and you don't want to bet on that again. And on our show, we've harped about that quite a bit. So I got to talk about Damani Jackson. Damani Jackson, he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school and a 3-year starter in college. He's a willing tackler, and he's solid against most wide receivers on routes without too many hard stops or turns, but he really, really lacks short area quickness and recovery speed to keep up with the quicker wide receivers or good route runners. So, he's as a 6th-round pick, I don't mind taking a shot on a former 5-star recruit. Maybe somebody saw something in him that maybe it's going to turn out to be right, but he's got quite a ways to go. But this is honestly, looking up and down this depth chart, it's another team that doesn't really have too many holes, despite really not not doing too much in free agency or the draft. But in this draft, I wasn't impressed. Carson talked about it right off the top, and then it just kind of the same vibes went the whole way down through. I gave him a C-.
Yeah, I was going to give them a D+. I wasn't super pumped about what they did here. Like, sure, I see what they're trying to do, but I'm not super high on the players that they drafted, and I don't know. It doesn't get you pumped up about the team. It doesn't really get you like, oh yeah, he's going to be a real like fix for this situation.
Yeah.
And sure, they didn't have a first round pick. I get it, but they still had a second, and it's like, was that really like we don't know until we see him play, but just off of feelings, D+ for me.
I'm also giving him another D+. I like their targeted positions. I just don't like the players they tried to address that with.
Exactly.
That's a great way to put it. Yeah.
Okay, moving on to the Minnesota Vikings to wrap up the NFC North here. First round, they got defensive tackle Caleb Banks. Second round, linebacker Jake Goldie. Third round, defensive tackle Big Citrus Dominique Orange.
Yeah.
Also in the third round, they got offensive tackle Caleb Tiernan. Also in the third round, safety Jacoby Thomas. In the fifth, they got fullback Max Bredesen. And also in the fifth round, they got corner Charles Demings. And in the sixth round, they got running back Damon Claiborne. And in the seventh, they got center Gavin Gearhart.
So the Vikings' first-round pick, Caleb Banks, defensive tackle out of Florida. Another guy that Key and I saw differently. He has him down at 8. I have him all the way up at 2. And that's mostly because his upside is immense. He has great length. He can swim, stab, wrap up ball carriers. When his hands land, he's got you, and he's ripping you, bullying you, doing whatever you want, he wants with you. He has the athleticism to move like an edge rusher, quickness, pursuit speed once he gets to the quarterback. Just plays a little upright and not great in the run game. But I love the upside, especially with the Vikings' current roster. So the Vikings' current depth chart at defensive end was pretty much nobody, and that's because this offseason they lost pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
Their whole line, Jonathan Grenard, gone to the Eagles. Jonathan Allen, Bengals. Javon Hargrave, Packers. 3 borderline studs on their defensive line are gone, so I think this is a slam dunk positional pick for the Vikings in their first round.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they kept going in the second round with another defensive pick. Not exactly line here, but linebacker with Jake Goldie from Cincinnati. Another guy here that I think will just help fill what feels like somewhat of a void. Like they brought in Andrew Van Ginkel, obviously from Miami. They got Blake Cashman there from Houston. But like I think that those guys are slightly older. We know that. So to bring in Jake Goldie, I think is a good idea. I had Jake Goldie a bit higher than you guys. He was my 5th linebacker, Carson's 7th, and Kean's 9th. But the big things about Jake Goldie, he's very explosive, a whole lot of athleticism, well-sized. He really, really excels around the line of scrimmage, though. That's his big thing. He's got strong and heavy hands to attack blocks and get off of blockers, too. And he's just always looking to lay the boom. He's got that linebacker mindset. He is a little bit slow to diagnose. He can lose his angle by going under blocks sometimes, and he's not super quick in the short area, but he can burst to tackle, I think. So I think the athleticism that he's got and just that mindset is hard to argue, in my opinion, and I think that's what the Vikings are looking for here. And I think he'll be a good fit with some of those vets in front of him to kind of learn some of that game from.
Brian Flores is going to love him.
He's going to
I think he's perfect.
He's going to be a good
Flores.
fit.
Yeah.
And then in the third round, they started by going back to that defensive line that Carson was talking about with none other than Big Citrus, Dominique Orange from Iowa State. This feels like another just hit it out of the park, home run type of pick. I had him at my 7, and Carson had him at 6, but Kean loves this guy, had him all the way up at 3. Things to love about him, another big motor guy here, which that's great in any defensive lineman, especially whenever you're trying to build a line back up. Super long arms. He can fire off that line right into contact, too. He's very explosive. Pretty impressive short area quickness for his size, and he's already got some moves to counter with, which some college guys don't. So it's good to see that he's got some moves already. He won't be really your pass rush type of guy, and he didn't really produce a whole lot in college.
That's why you get Caleb Banks.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah, and then you've got Brian Flores coaching you up. So I think this is a good situation with a good player with a lot of upside.
I think the home run picks end there. When we move on to their second, third round pick, offensive tackle Caleb Tiernan out of Northwestern. This guy played tackle, but he is slow and lumbering, and I think personally he needs to convert to guard. Now I see the draw to him. He is 6'8", 323, 32.25-inch arms, but he just seems top heavy, off balance, and then even with that huge side, he seems to not only get out muscled, but he also gets beat to the corner, and I'm not really sure how that transition to guard will go, and that shows in our rankings. Kean had him 19, I had him 21 of offensive tackle in the class, so to take him in the third round, I see as a reach, and then the positional target of tackle/guard, I don't really see a huge draw. They have a good offensive line as is. Christian Darrisaw, Donovan Jackson, Will Fries, Brian O'Neill. That's a solid line. I understand it as a depth piece that you're shooting for the upside here, but I personally don't like this pick.
Yeah, I comped him to a tree whenever we talked about it.
Yeah, grows roots and doesn't move.
Yeah. Big, though. He's big.
Yeah, big.
Harrison Smith retired this offseason, so it left a big hole in the back end of their defense. And safety Jacoby Thomas, who they used to address that with number 98 pick here. Thomas has been a starter at Middle Tennessee State, also at Tennessee, and at Miami, which was his 2025 season. And he really filled the stat sheet to greatly increase his draft stock heading into this draft. So on the field, you can tell he's really smart. He's really experienced. His ability to read the quarterback's eyes and go get involved in plays are really what sticks out. To go with that, he can change directions easily, and it's funny watching him whenever he's roaming the field because he menacingly is just bouncing out there. Jordan Loved, in the open field. He's ready to pass. He's really like, ooh, all right. Whichever direction the play goes, he's ready to go. So I don't mind the Jacoby Thomas pick. Another pick that I don't mind here is, so C.J. Ham retired, longtime fullback of the Vikings. They went and drafted Max Bredesen from Michigan to immediately play that hole. Hell yeah, I love fullbacks in the NFL now. Also, Brian Flores has made Byron Murphy Jr. and Isaiah Rodgers into good cornerbacks, thanks in large parts to the pressure he can create on the quarterback with his creative blitzes.
Yep.
And then they also brought in James Pierre in free agency, which was from the Steelers, to hopefully be that next cornerback who takes a step forward. But if that fails, they did draft Charles Demmings as a backup plan. So Demmings, he comes from an FCS school, but he did prove his athleticism and explosiveness in his underwear. At the combine with a vertical jump of 42 inches and a broad jump of 11 feet, which are both very good numbers. But in game, you can see flashes of athleticism, but he didn't have to play very disciplined at that level. So just improve his discipline and cut out some of the unnecessary movements in random directions. This guy runs bananas more than I saw any other quarterback in this class run bananas.
And honestly, not a good thing.
It's not a good thing, but it does
you aren't running bananas out there.
Right.
You're running bananas.
Right. Flores, honestly, I think he could morph Demmings into something in a few years. He's got a lot of kinks to work out, but I think there's something there, maybe.
The Vikings' 6th-round pick was Damon Claiborne out of Wake Forest, running back. And I see the vision with this one. Aaron Jones is very old. Jordan Mason's young, so you get a guy that's more similar to Aaron Jones. Damon Claiborne is very fast linearly. He's a good receiver. Plants his foot, gets upfield. He shows how fast he was at the combine. He's 5'10", 188, undersized guy, but he did run a 4.37, similar to Aaron Jones. And I think that he is going to be specifically a passing down and speed guy because in college, 5 fumbles, 29.0 pass block grade, and then he didn't really make a lot of guys miss. Small guy with no wiggle. I comped him to James Cook prospect version, and like I said, I think that his speed is going to be an asset to this team, but in the hopefully limited usage with Jordan Mason and spilling Aaron Jones.
I agree. One thing I would have liked if they added more, I wanted another edge, just in case Dallas Turner fails. This is the first year that Dallas Turner is actually going to be a starter. They traded back up into the first round to draft him in 2024, and that was after they already selected J.J. McCarthy earlier in that round. So if Dallas Turner fails, that's going to look like one of the worst drafts of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
So I would have liked a backup plan there. But overall, I feel like they got some good pieces here, especially right off the top. I gave him an overall solid B.
I gave them a B-. I saw what you saw. I kind of wanted to see I love Jake Goldie for their second round pick there, but I would have liked to see, like you said, a little bit more edge help, just in case of Dallas Turner, but also because they got Van Ginkel slotted in there right now, and he's incredible. But
there's nobody behind him.
Yeah, there's no one behind him. Exactly. So I would like to see that. Otherwise, I think they had some super solid picks that are going to make immediate differences, and Brian Flores is going to cook with them too. And I like the depth that they added on offense, especially with that running back and fullback pick. I think that'll be solid. And it never hurts to have more linemen, like on the offensive line with the Caleb Tiernan, even though he's a tree. But yeah, so B- for me.
I'm going B+. I think their first 3 picks are all good to great, and those are the 3 most important, obviously. And then in the later rounds, I think they found some value where they needed it, and I'm excited for this draft class of theirs, so B+.
Moving into the NFC East, we're going to start off with the Dallas Cowboys. In the first round, they got safety Caleb Downs, and they got edge Malachi Lawrence. In the third round, they got edge Jashawn Barham. In the fourth, they got offensive tackle Drew Shelton. Also in the fourth, they got corner Devin Moore, and they got edge LT Overton. And in the seventh round, they got wide receiver Anthony Smith, and a notable UDFA they picked up was tight end Michael Trigg. So that first round pick, everyone knows him. Seemingly everyone loves him. Caleb Downs, my guy for me, big motor guy. He just puts in seemingly all of his effort on every single play. He's the most effective around the line of scrimmage. He's an absolute menace, and he's not afraid to dish some contact out while helping in that run support too. And even for his size, he is slightly undersized, according to most people. But he lays some big hits, and he is a tackle finisher. He can control his body really well, changes direction incredibly well also, and he just closes on the ball super quickly. He can diagnose and really limit yak yardage. But, yeah, sometimes, like I said, he's slightly undersized, and he comes into that backfield hot, but sometimes that comes back to hurt him, but he can be coached up on that, I'm sure. So this is another just can't miss for this Dallas Cowboys team. I mean, to get Caleb Downs, whenever we were there, it's like we felt like he was just falling and falling. To get Caleb Downs at 11, like a player of that caliber, is just wild. So I think it's a great pick by the Cowboys to add to their safety room to go along with Malik Hooker, Jalen Thompson that they picked up out of Arizona, and I think it's just going to be he's going to be a menace down in Dallas.
Yeah, only 12 picks later, it's really impressive how far they can go from amazing value to insane reach. Yeah. And that pick is edge Malachi Lawrence at UCF. Athletically and his build, he looks like an NFL edge. He's an NFL edge. He has the burst off the line. He has sharp cuts in his routes, but he just kind of looks out of control, 23.3% missed tackle rate, and just lacks the consistency and domination. And that shows in Keenan and I's rankings of him. Keenan has him down at edge 17, and I have him at edge 16. Yeah. Keeping in mind, he was only pick 23.
Yeah.
If this was a class, if in the draft you only draft edges, I'd be like, that's decent value.
Yeah.
But when there's all these other positions and players, it's crazy the reach that they made here.
Oh man.
So I see the positional target though. They do need edge rushers right now. They're working with Quinnen Williams, Kenny Clark is a D tackle. They got Rashawn Gary, who they brought in from Green Bay. So they need edges, but I don't think this is the pick. But they did make a great pick in the third round with the next edge that they drafted. That is Jashawn Barham. Kian has him at 7. Cody has him at 9. I'll also have him at 7. My guy for Kian and I both. This guy is someone that, if I was a Cowboys fan, I would be stoked for and be super excited. He's a edge linebacker combo. He can do it both. Very quick and fast. He can play off ball, on ball, like I said. He can hit hard. He plays on the edge, stand up, but he's still super quick. He gets around blocks so good in the run game or pass game. He has a change of direction, bend, and then he's just an aggressive and playmaker. He is undersized, only 240 pounds, and his handwork at edge needs improvement. But overall, I think this guy's going to be super exciting to watch. Whether he plays linebacker, maybe he'll slide in for D Winners or share some time with Demarion Overshone or whoever, or he just goes right to edge. Either way, I'd be super stoked for this. And I think this is a great value for the position. I'm just curious, Kean, what do you have him in your top 150?
Let me pull that up real quick. I do love Jayshawn Barham. I think that, oh man, he was so exciting to watch. Just the way that he moves is different. You can tell whenever you're watching some guys, it's like, damn, that guy is a lightning bolt on the field of just rain.
Yeah, because we have him at 7, but I was just curious where he lined up in the in your total rankings, because they took him at 92.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you had him at
80 or 110.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot here. I know you gotta find the dog.
No, you're good. I'm scrolling over. He had him really high, so I'm scrolling way up.
Yeah, he played off ball for a little bit, and then
first 2 years. Yeah, first 2 games of the season.
Yeah, then I think one game he went off at.
I had him at 53.
53, yeah, so that's a great value pick there.
Yeah. Love Barham.
How about Malachi Lawrence? Where'd you have him?
I don't even think I had him ranked.
Didn't make the top 150? Yeah.
No, he didn't. Oh, wait, 146.
Oh, snuck it in there.
Snuck him in there. Drew Shelton is a guy who didn't make my top 150. Now, I do like drafting an offensive tackle like Drew Shelton, just in case right tackle Terrence Steele or left tackle Tyler Guyton fail. Both have been not so great so far.
True.
Shelton does need to bulk up his lanky frame because he can get moved off the ball against hard-charging edges. But what he does positively right now is move out in open space. And as he climbs the levels and seeks defenders in the run game, he's a raw project offensive tackle who is a good mover, which kind of sounds like Tyler Guyton whenever he entered the NFL. So I don't know if I like that so much, if they're cutting from the same cloth, but I don't know. And they drafted another guy that I don't like next either.
That's a corner Devin Moore out of Florida. So this guy has great length, weight, size for a true outside corner, and he's effective in press coverage. Times his jumps well on the ball, suffocates receivers at the catch point, and that sounds like a Cowboys corner. Making plays on the ball, making risky decisions. He's reliable in run support too as well, but he just plays very upright. He has a slow downhill burst, slow change of direction, and then he's just not fast. So right now he's going to be a depth piece behind Deron Bland and Kobe Turner. And then they have another project there in Siobhan Ravel still. But there is a path where he sees the field, and I think he'll probably get exploited for his lack of athleticism.
Yeah. Also, with all the depth that the Cowboys have at DT right now, which is Quentin Williams, Kenny Clark, Otito Ogbonia, Jonathan Bullard, I'm glad LT Overton will get a chance to learn and hopefully develop as either a defensive tackle or an edge. Overton, in my eyes, he's like an old school defensive end. He's 6'3", 274, 33.25-inch arms. I like the low grinding pad level he plays with, and I think he lacks quickness and the juice needed to play at edge in today's NFL. I'd like to see him bulk up to like 290 or something would be cool. Let him play along the interior defensive line, maybe be a 3-tech or some kind of pass rusher in there. But honestly, as a whole, you look up and down this draft class here, and they drafted a lot of projects with size, athleticism, positional versatility, and upside. So overall, I don't really know how to grade that, because it felt like I watched back our last year's NFC Draft Grades episode, and the Seahawks did that too. And I didn't know how to grade that then, because they had guys like Elijah Arroyo and quarterback out of Alabama that I'm blanking on from last year.
Who are we talking about?
The athletic dude.
Yeah, Seahawks.
Oh, Jalen Milroe?
Jalen Milroe. Yeah. They got a lot of guys like that. So I didn't know how to grade it then. I don't know how to grade it now. I gave him a B. Middle of the road.
Okay. Yeah. For me, it felt more middle of the road than you, I guess. I just gave them like a B minus. C plus.
Okay.
I love Caleb Downs. He's going to be awesome.
Absolutely.
He's going to be great. So he's carrying that, and I think they added depth in the right places and really seemingly focused on the right places. I just don't know if I love the guys they took and when they took them, obviously. But I'll just give them a pretty much true middle of the road C plus.
Before I give my ranking, I'd like to touch on one of the UDFAs real quick, and that's Michael Trigg. This guy going undrafted is crazy. And it's a little embarrassing for me to say, but I truly did contemplate putting him tight end 1 over Kenyon Sadiq.
Oh my God.
But this guy is just insane. He's huge, over 34-inch arms, 10.5-inch hands, moves like a receiver. He's a fighter after the catch, 0.34 missed tackles forced per reception, which is the same as Deebo Samuel coming out of college. Just a matchup nightmare of a tight end. I comped him to Evan Ingram in the way he's able to move as a tight end. Comped him to Lil Jordan Humphrey, which is a little embarrassing,
yeah.
but he is, for some reason, staying in the league as a red zone threat. And I think that Michael Trigg is definitely going to have a place in the NFL. He just has a little bit of depth to get through. They have Brevin Span-Jordan already, Luke Schoonmaker, Jake Ferguson. But I think that he can play that Luke Schoonmaker role, where every once in a while he'll just have a game where he has 6 receptions and a touchdown. Or if Jake Ferguson goes down, he can go in there. So, Keenan, I'm curious what your overall ranking of him is, because a UDFA is crazy for someone that you probably have in like the top 30. I don't know. So.
I did. Yeah, I had him at number 17.
Yeah.
Yeah.
17 going undrafted.
I don't care if he can't block.
I know.
The guy's insane as a just receiving weapon.
It doesn't matter as much anymore with these multiple tight end sets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're more than likely going to have another blocking tight end.
I'm looking up and down. Like, I just Googled Michael Trigg, went to the news section, see kind of what I was hearing from like these like OTAs that they have going on right now and rookie mini camps that happen and stuff like that. And I'm seeing up and down these articles. It says like, quote, athletic monster, UDFA looking to prove doubters wrong. It's like,
we
is he
know.
the best UDFA on Dallas? Which that's
Yes.
an easy yes. But
Yeah.
I think he's gonna make the team and he'll be fine. But I don't know why he fell this far.
Yeah, so for my grade, I'm actually going to go A-. They drafted 3 my guys of mine with Caleb Downs, Jayshon Barham, and Michael Trigg. I think those are all super exciting players. It's just a shame that they had such a miss at pick 23 with Malachi Lawrence and then some later picks that they could have gone elsewhere. But those 3 players are – I want to watch the Cowboys solely for watching them.
Yeah, fair.
And that gets me fired up.
Yeah,
I
sure.
found alleged reason for him going undrafted. Reported immaturity issues and poor practice work kept Trigg from being selected in the NFL draft. Indeed, one NFL scout has whispered that he was, quote, kicked off the team at Ole Miss and that he has, quote, lazy work habits.
Interesting. We'll see then.
That's crazy.
We will see. All right, the New York Giants in the first round, they got edge Arvell Reese, and they also got offensive tackle Francis Maui-Noah. In the second, they got corner Colton Hood. In the third, they got wide receiver Malachi Fields. And in the sixth, they got defensive tackle Bobby Jamison Travis and offensive tackle J.C. Davis and linebacker Jack Kelly. So with that first pick, edge Arvell Reese from Ohio State, another one that was expected to go super high. He was obviously consensus number 1 for all of us here. Super young guy. Very young. He's already got good height. He's got long arms. He's got a lot of room to grow into his frame even more, which is exciting. And he can be productive from either linebacker or on the line rushing. He's explosive. He's fast. He's just like a ball of fire running around the field. He's super exciting to watch and is always looking to make a play. He might be a little inexperienced, especially like when he's diagnosing. You might be able to catch him a half step late. And he, of course, I'd love to see the guy bulk up a little bit, which I'm sure with an NFL training program and trainers, that's probably their goal too, to be honest. And if he does that, he's going to be a real menace on the field. And so it's a super exciting pick, especially to add to this Giants team that already seemingly has a great defense every single year. To just add a menace like that in the backfield to just run around and basically do whatever needs done. It's a great early pick.
The Giants' 10th overall pick, offensive tackle Francis Maui-Noah out of Miami, I think was a can't miss. To get Keenan and I's offensive lineman number 1 and Cody's 2 at pick 10 to protect your franchise quarterback, I think is great. They could have drafted pretty much any position on the offensive line. It would have been good, but Francis Maui-Noah is excellent, and he proved it all throughout the college football playoffs and all season long. I comped them to a Burdick Burr, which, if you don't know them, they're those little balls like the Velcro that stick to your clothes everywhere you go. Anytime you go into the woods, you go into the woods or a field, and they're there, and you can try to avoid them.
Yep.
But if you don't have a plan in place before you go in, They latch on, they do not let go. And that is the same thing that Francis Mauigoa does. You need to have a solid plan, solid plan, and lots of skill to get past the guy, or he's just going to lock you up. And I think that that's what he's going to do for Jackson Dart as well.
A guy here in the second round, pick 37 that they took was corner Colton Hood from Tennessee. My guy for me and Carson, our third-ranked corner, and Kean had him at 5. This is another one that me and Carson would probably agree to get a value guy like this at pick 37 in the NFL draft is unbelievable. He's physical. He's got that corner attitude that he's just going to be sticky and all over you and smother you and all that stuff.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyways, he's got good speed. He's not really he's got enough to keep up on deep balls. He's not the fastest guy on the field by any means, but good size, super hard hitter. He's very, very good in run support, and he really is able to challenge the catch point for jump balls too. And he's got a really strong initial punch on the release to really
loves contact.
To stun that receiver and push him back. Some of the shiftier and quicker guys might give him a little bit of a challenge in the NFL, and he can get a little grabby if he's in a sticky situation where he might be getting burned a little bit or a half step late. But I think he can work on that. He might be able to work on ball tracking a little bit more. But for all his attitude and physicality, it's just awesome. And Harbaugh's going to freaking love this guy in the backfield. I think he's going to be great to add to that corner room that's right now just Paulson and Adebo on one side. And they brought in Greg Newsome from Jacksonville to bring in Colton Hood. I think they're going to have a pretty good unit back there.
Their third-round pick was wide receiver Malachi Fields out of Notre Dame. And I'll say this. I do like the thought process here because you need a big downfield jump ball receiver to pair up with Malik Neighbors to have a T. Higgins to your Jamar Chase. But I don't think this is the guy for the job. He is mostly a large downfield jump ball receiver, but limited route tree, slow feet. I comped him to a Mac Hollins with better jump ball ability, and he's just kind of moves like a tight end at the receiver position. I had him ranked as my wide receiver 17. Keen had him down all the way at 29. So, like I said, I like the thought process here, but I don't like the player pick.
Can't separate. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, they brought in OBJ for that. He's back.
Oh my gosh, they brought in so many names now. Is this talking about Malik Neighbors maybe not being healthy to start out the year, or is this that Malachi Fields is worse than they thought? Because they brought in Calvin Austin, Darnell Mooney, Juju Smith-Schuster, Odell Beckham Jr., Braxton Berrios. Those are all guys.
I thought he retired.
Yeah, OBJ, Berrios, and Schuster they brought in yesterday.
Yeah.
That's for a different day to talk about.
Yes.
That's slightly concerning.
Yeah.
For Neighbors.
Trading away defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence is also pretty concerning.
Very.
Leaves a huge gap, literal huge gap in the middle of your D line. They do still have Darius Alexander from the 2025 draft and Roy Robertson Harris coming back from injury, and then they added DJ Reader, Shelby Harris, Lecky Fotu, Sam Roberts, and drafted Bobby Jamison Travis. So it's anyone's guess how this defensive tackle rotation is going to shake out post Lawrence, but Bobby Jamison Travis is a cheaper Darrell Jackson Jr. in terms of draft capital in my eyes. He's large, 328 pounds. He's long, 34.25-inch arms, and he shows flashes of being a people mover, mostly in the run game and a little in the pass game. Having never played more than 391 snaps in a season, he could likely just be a role player in the NFL, which is probably how this rotation is going to be, so that's fine. Also, for years, the Giants have struggled to find a right tackle until they found Jermaine Illuminor, and left tackle Andrew Thomas has struggled with some injuries throughout his NFL career. So I do like drafting J.C. Davis as solid depth. So Davis is an aggressive ripper / twister / shover with his upper body in the run game. In pass pro, he seems kind of lead-footed and clompy in his kick slides, and if he can get into a defender's pads, he's usually going to win that rep. But that is a big if. When he faces off against quicker edges over his 4 years, that's whenever he faces off against quicker edges. Can't even read my own writing. Over his 4 years of starting in college, he had 2 at New Mexico and 2 at Illinois. He's allowed 57 pressures and has been penalized 21 times. I would be willing to try him at offensive tackle, though, for a short stint. But if my worries reign true, I'd quickly move him to guard and be fine with it. But overall, this draft class, again, I love what the Giants are doing. Especially their first 3 picks are slam dunk, home run, eagle.
Albatross. Double albatross.
Albatross.
That's a hole in one on a par 5.
Yes.
Bang! Freaking drive the green.
Yes. Yeah. But I guess maybe I'm knocking them too much for their third round pick, Malachi Fields. But I gave him an A-, and I feel like solid grade. I do like what the Giants did overall.
I was gonna give them an. I have to go A-. I was gonna go A, but yeah, you're right with that Malachi Fields pick. I'm unsure about that, especially with everyone they just brought in. They might have made. Can I get 20, 25? They might have been able to do the job with the guys they brought in. We don't know yet. But yeah, I love the Arvell Reese pick. Love Maui Noah. Love Colton Hood. I think that's just whip, bam, boom. Solid picks. It's going to be awesome for the Giants. And, man, this Giants team, man, with Harbaugh at the helm.
This is the year.
This is the year.
Isaiah Likely came to town.
Yeah. I agree with everything you guys said, and I'm also going A-. First 3 picks are great, and then after that, I think it went down.
Sure. All right, the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round, they got wide receiver Mekhi Lemon. In the second, they got tight end Eli Stowers. In the third, they got offensive tackle Markel Bell. In the fifth round, they got quarterback Cole Payton. In the sixth, they got guard Micah Morris. In the seventh, they got safety Cole Wisniewski. In the seventh, they also got defensive tackle UR Bernard. And also in the seventh, they got edge Keyshawn James Newby.
The Eagles' first-round pick, who they traded up for, wide receiver Mekhi Lemon out of USC. Stolen from the Steelers one pick before when the Steelers thought they had him. And the amount of sadness that I had when I found this out is yes,
it's the right move.
Is enough to show how much I love this guy. Cody and I's both wide receiver 2 and a my guy. Can't have him down at wide receiver 5. But this guy is exactly what this team needs. When you have a quarterback that doesn't excel in passing at all times, you need a guy that's going to be reliable in the pass game so he can feel more comfortable and he can
overthrow him too.
Yeah, he is short. This guy, Mekhi Lemon, is a gritty slot receiver that's a reliable target and strong at all times, even in the run game. Once again, good for the run game with this run-first offense. And I comped him to his USC predecessor, Amon-Ra St. Brown, but Mekhi Lemon is stronger and better after the catch. I kind of also see him as a mini P.E.K.K.A. If you guys know what that is.
Oh, yeah, a P.E.K.K.A. It's like a little rodent thing.
No. It's from like Clash of Clans or Clash Royale. Way back in the day. There's like this. They're like little meatballs with swords, pretty much. But I also comped them to Puka Nacua Mini.
Pekka Nacua.
Yes, Pekka Nacua Mini, because the way he uses strength in his routes instead of athleticism.
True.
And college, he was used a lot behind the line of scrimmage, just like Puka is, and then he just has strength after the catch to somehow always break tackles when it looks like he shouldn't. So Mekhi Lemon slots right in as their starting slot receiver to pair up with Devontae Smith and Dontavian Wicks.
I looked up what a P.E.K.K.A. is. I looked up what it looks like. Yeah, that is pretty good. They're like little armored things, like little armored battlers,
like mini Viking.
Yeah,
nice. Kind of. Yeah.
All right, with their second round pick, they got a guy that I also am a huge fan of. My guy for me, tight end Eli Stowers out of Vanderbilt. I think that we get right back into the multiple tight end sets that the NFL is going towards, and Eli Stowers will stack right in behind Dallas Goedert as he is continuing to get older, as one does, I guess, naturally. But I think this is a great fit because of Goddard getting older. He can get right in there and fill what Dallas Goedert can't really do as well anymore, and also learn from the guy. Like I said, Stowers was my guy for me. Super explosive. His athletic ability is just clearly off the charts. Sure and strong-handed guy. He's a hands catcher easily, and he's just smooth and natural with it too. Really big catch radius. He's really like an XL wide receiver out there the way he plays, but he's got the tight end mentality of always looking for more yardage downfield, and he's not afraid of contact either, which I love in a tight end. And another big thing that really drew me to him is that he's a quarterback convert. He's only got 3 years at the tight end position, which I don't really see as a negative. Especially because he's not the number one tight end. He's not going to be relied on as the guy, but that quarterback mind is there, and that's why I like it so much. He's got a really good football IQ. Like I said, he might not be the fastest, but he is physical and he's got the athletic ability for days. And I think it's a great pick to add into their receiver room with Dallas Goedert.
Yeah. Also, Howie Roseman is very smart. We know this, and he knows that both Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata are not going to play forever. With Johnson probably retiring after 2026, he already basically seems like he was going to retire after this past year, and so now he's almost definitely going to retire next year. But the Eagles decided to draft their next big upside project, offensive tackle, in Markel Bell. But one interesting thing to take into account is that the Eagles' longtime offensive line coach, Jeff Stoutland, decided to leave the team.
Yeah.
So Stoutland is the man who gets the credit for building up the Eagles' O-line to be one of the best in the league for years, and his biggest flex is that he turned Jordan Mailata from a rugby player into one of the best left tackles in the NFL. Jordan Mailata had never played football before he was drafted by the Eagles in the 7th round in 2018, and now he's been a perennial great left tackle. So now Markel Bell is literally a big project. He's 6'9.25", 346 pounds, 36 3/8 inch arms.
Damn.
Yeah. So some coaches just love huge offensive linemen like this because the starting point of a developmental offensive lineman like this is naturally higher. That's because without even being that good at playing offensive tackle yet, it's just physically tougher for edges to get around an offensive tackle of this size. They have to run further to get around a big guy. So, just to get to the quarterback before he throws. That's even if they get there in time. So with Bell, the strength and ability to big bro some defenders is silly. It's really funny to watch. And honestly, the balance and quickness in Bell's feet during his kick slides, it really impressed me. Is he flawless and already looking great for the NFL level? No, but I do see real potential here that is intriguing to say the least. This guy is insanely massive, and it's fun to watch him play football.
He has an 87-inch wingspan. That is 7'3".
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, he's big. Everybody was going nuts. He ran like a 5.36 40-yard dash, and everybody's like, "That's flying!" Yeah, that's because he's 6'9", 346 pounds. Yeah. So yeah, he's fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right, the Eagles' 5th round pick is a guy that I love and I couldn't be more stoked about. That is quarterback Cole Payton out of North Dakota State. He is my quarterback 4. Kean's quarterback down at 11.
Okay.
Cody had him at 9. Yeah. So I have just about one worry and one worry only about Cole Payton now that he has gone to the Eagles. And that is what the Eagles are going to do with this quarterback situation. They have Jalen Hurts, Tanner McKee, Andy Dalton, and Cole Payton.
Red Rocket.
Now, the fact that they took him in the 5th round, which is actually pretty early for how quarterbacks were falling, has me confident that he will stay on the team and he'll maybe get a look in preseason, get a chance here and there. But this guy's ability, athleticism, size, all has me so excited about him. And to go into the Eagles system who has Jalen Hurts right now is great. Cole Payton, believe it or not, is actually more athletic than Jalen Hurts in underwear.
Oh, yeah.
Cole Payton ran a 4.56 compared to Jalen Hurts' 4.59. He had a 40-inch vert, which is 5 inches higher than Jalen Hurts. He jumped 5 inches further. And I really had 3 outcomes for Cole Payton, which summarizes him well. The first one is Will Levis, which is if the team tries to use him as strictly a quarterback, which I can confidently now rule that one almost off the table because they have a lot of quarterback draws and design quarterback runs in this offense, so I think he's going to be fine. Second outcome is Taysom Hill. That's using him as a gadget player. I don't think that one's going to happen either. Probably. So that leaves one outcome.
Okay.
And that one outcome is Josh Allen.
He has to. It's laid out perfectly.
It's literally the only option.
Follow the yellow brick road.
Yeah, I mean, the guy reminds me of him so much. Cole Payton, 6'3", 230, a little bit smaller, but he has the same throwing motion, which is that loopy circle. He has the rushing ability. He has the deep ball accuracy and huge cannon. And Cole Payton actually has much better college stats than Josh Allen did. They're both projects coming in. Cole Payton just needs some sculpting. He's way older than Anthony Richardson. He has much experience. He has much more experience. He's on a pretty good Baylor team.
He probably is older than Anthony Richardson.
He probably is. Actually, I should check that.
Hold on, I'll check.
He probably is older than Anthony Richardson.
I'll check.
But Cole Payton is the high upside pick that I love to see out of Howie Roseman. And I hope he just gives him a chance to just run first offense.
Hey, he's got the same birthday as our mom.
Oh,
24
nice.
years old. May 22nd, 2022.
Who's that?
Anthony Richardson.
Wait, I got it.
May 22nd, 2002. Sorry.
Oh, October 26, 2002.
Oh my
Hey.
gosh, it's
Anthony
crazy.
Richardson's
That's
only
close.
5 months old.
Yeah.
5 months and 4 days.
Was he drafted 3 years ago? 4? I think it's 4.
Yeah.
Wow,
Probably
that's
why it
crazy.
hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay. Howie being Howie, he knows how important it is to have depth in the trenches. So, trenches. Wow. Slow down, Kian.
down.
Thus, the yearly late-round offensive line depth draft pick, Micah Morris. So, Morris might not have high upside, but he does play calm, efficient, without many wasted movements, and strong. He does his job more often than not, but my biggest concern is how upright he plays, especially when powerful defenders drive into him. Also, next pick. Now that the Eagles let Reed Blankenship walk, breaking up the exciting whites.
How could they do
Hate
this
Howie
to
for
us?
that.
Yeah.
They also traded away Sidney Brown. The safety room looks kind of weak. So, of course, Andrew Makuba will be taking one of the starting spots. He was their second-round pick from last year. We all loved him.
It's going to be awesome.
But then it's just Marcus Epps, who is in his second stint with the Eagles with mixed results throughout his NFL career. Michael Carter II, who, if you guys remember correctly, he was a slot corner on the Jets, who they're now trying at safety here on the Eagles. And then they brought in Cole Wisniewski. So Wisniewski balled out at North Dakota State the first 4 years of his college career before he transferred to Texas Tech's great defense for 2025. He packs a punch for receivers at the catch point and even running backs in the open field. He wraps up and drops ball carriers like sacks of taters. It's the North Dakota in him.
Yeah.
Yes.
His short area quickness is slower when you see him have to recover, but overall he seems like a smart player out in space, and I think that he could honestly earn some playing time in this weak safety room. And then finally,
The most Eagles pick of all time.
yes, Howie Roseman loves to take big swings on high upside players. Well, let me tell you about UR Bernard. He might be one of the greatest athletes, pound for pound, that we've ever seen come into the NFL. Not on the football field, but in his underwear, this guy's fantastic.
Nice. Give it up for the underwear guys.
Yes. So he's 6'4" and a half, 306 pounds. I put the picture on there because, and I'm going to put it on the screen too, that guy is 306 pounds.
That's 98% muscle.
Yeah, he's only 6% body fat, which is really low. Yes. Look at him.
I mean, clearly, yeah.
306 pounds.
Yeah.
That's just 6'4" and a half.
That's a man.
He ran a 4.63 40-yard dash.
Damn.
306 pounds.
Damn.
That's explosive.
He jumped 39 inches up in the air.
Damn.
He broad jumped 10'10".
Damn. That's the same as Cole Payton.
His wingspan is 7'1 and a half.
Oh, he's got to be playing basketball. What's he doing here?
Seriously. And also, he bench pressed 31 reps.
Oh, that's it? That's why he's not playing basketball.
Right. But this guy, he's in that NFL International Pathway Program thing that they do. So this guy, he probably won't ever see the field in the NFL, but he is a specimen.
He's going to be a menace on the practice team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Put that guy in a mascot uniform, let him do some crazy stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
my,
I'll give him
yeah.
like a Bane mask and just
Yeah.
like scare people.
Yeah.
It's like what they wish Zion Williamson was in the NFL.
Yeah. He just got fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Overall, though, I think Howie does really well at drafting. I wasn't as high on Mekhi Lemon or Eli Stowers as Carson or Cody was on Stowers. Cole Payton, Carson was obviously higher on him. I do like Marco Bell quite a bit. But overall, I can't deny that they brought in some really solid talent. I gave him a B.
Nice. That's what I was going to give him, too. I think it was really carried by those first few because some of them were questionable. But like you said, I like how he building up the line like he does. And those first two really took it for me. So a B for me also.
I have to go A-, and that's because how much I love Mekhi Lemon and Cole Payton. Yeah. Don't really love anyone else outside of them two, but, man, those two get me fired up.
All right, moving on to the Washington Commanders. In the first round, they got linebacker Sonny Styles. In the third, wide receiver Antonio Williams. In the fifth, edge Joshua Josephs. In the sixth, running back Katron Allen. And also in the sixth, center Matt Golban. And in the seventh, quarterback Ethan Kaliakmanis.
Yes.
And so with that first round pick, linebacker Sonny Styles, obviously the guy across from Arvell Reese, well, not really across, but in the same field, worked with Arvell Reese.
In tandem.
Yeah, at Ohio State there. Sonny Styles is a completely different style than Arvell Reese.
Nice.
That's good.
He's your linebacker that's incredibly versatile, super athletic with really good size and length, and he's more of a guy that'll excel more at diagnosing, and he reacts very, very efficiently. He's very quick in the short area, and his closing speed is very good as well. And he's just a solid, reliable tackle finisher. And just his combination of all that, his size, length, and speed especially, they just allow him to be effective from anywhere on the field. He doesn't excel around the line of scrimmage like some of these linebackers might. He's just solid everywhere. He's a little slower to start and stop, and sometimes he looks like he can either be a little hesitant or lets the play come to him, but that's kind of that diagnosing part of his game there. But if you want a solid all-around versatile linebacker that'll do whatever you need done, just not be the most crazy athletic freak on the field, Sonny Styles is your guy. And the Commanders obviously needed and wanted a guy like that, so that's why they went ahead and went out and got him. And I think it's a solid pick. I know some people were questioning it, especially taking him up there at 7, but I think for a team to just get a solid, every team needs a solid linebacker like this that can do whatever. So I think it's a solid pick for the Commanders.
The Commanders' third-round pick, wide receiver Antonio Williams out of Clemson, fills a hole that is probably gone with Deebo Samuel still in free agency. It's looking like he's not coming back. So I think this is targeting that slot receiver position right away. Antonio Williams is a great grab-and-go receiver, and he's great at snatching the ball, but I think the grades pretty much end there. He has weak play strength. His routes aren't super sharp. He kind of lacks that burst and top speed, and he's just a well-rounded slot receiver that doesn't excel anywhere, and that is a significant gear change from Deebo, and I hope they don't expect to get what they got out of Deebo with Antonio Williams. But I think it'll at least make for an interesting wide receiver competition between Antonio Williams and Jalen Lane for the slot position in the offseason. For Antonio Williams, Kean had him 17, Cody had him 12, and I had him 20. So all across the board, we're not really stoked about him. Their next pick in the 5th round was edge Joshua Josephs out of Tennessee. This guy has extremely long arms.
Yeah.
And his whole play style kind of revolves around that, I guess. He gets a hand in him, tries to keep his distance, but if they get their hands on his pads, then he's pretty much done. He needs more strength. He's mostly linear movement. He's not really quick around the he's not really shifty throughout his rush, but with those long arms, he also has a huge tackle radius, and the Commanders do need edges. They need a pass rush. This is another team that has not had a pass rush in a very long time. They're working with Javon Kinlaw and Odafe Owe, and that's not going to do it. So Joshua Josephs also has some ability to play off ball, but I think he should probably try to stay at edge. Yeah. 5th round pick, it's kind of what you expect. He's just a middle of the road edge, has some potential.
Their 6th round pick, probably we would argue, is a very good value pick here. As Keen and I had him at R5, and Carson had him 6. That's running back Katron Allen from Penn State, all the way at pick 187 overall in the draft. He's coming into a room with obviously Bill Krosky-Merritt, and they brought in Rashad White from Tampa Bay too, and Jeremy McNichols is still hanging around too. So it's kind of I guess it's not a super confusing pick here to me. You would think it might be, but just with Katron Allen's play style, this might free up Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt to do more of what he's good at and let Katron Allen do what he's good at, which is kind of mainly just a power back at the end of the day. That's kind of his game. He's got a super strong lower body. He runs through weak tackles easily. He's got good speed, pretty good acceleration, produced a ton in college, and that's even with another very talented running back right beside him in the backfield. He's got good size. He's well-balanced running back. It just feels like he's kind of a one-trick pony a little bit. He's not really going to give you much receiving work, but he is very talented and will excel in that role as long as they use him in that role of really just a power downhill. We need the yards back.
Center Matt Gulbin in the 6th could proved to be a pretty important pick for them here. Center Tyler Biotish left for the Chargers in free agency, and now Nick Allegretti is slated in to start at center. Allegretti has been a full-time starter just 2 of his 7 seasons in the NFL, and he's played just 178 total snaps at center. So center is really their only O-line position without a returning starter, so Matt Golban could have a chance at playing time. Golban isn't the strongest player, but I think he moves and reacts really well to what rushers are coming at him, like he's always keeping his head on a swivel. Even if he can't stop the defender entirely, he redirects them and moves on. His weaker anchor could get him driven back constantly in the NFL, but I have hope that he can find a way to make it work with his plus movement skills. Overall, I feel like I'm definitely lower on Sonny Styles and Antonio Williams, those two especially at the top of the draft. But I look at this team, and it just kind of makes sense. Like, they needed a Sonny Styles. They needed a slot receiver with Antonio Williams. Like Carson said, they're not bringing back Debo. They needed edge help, and Josh Joes, I think, is going to be fine. And Katron Allen, I think, brings something that they don't have, that power back. Mm-hmm. So I give him a B+. I feel like I'm decently high on this draft class. I think they did solid, maybe better than solid. Good solid. Solid good.
Good solid.
Good solid.
Yeah, I'm right in the same wavelength with you. I didn't think you were going to go that way just because of what you thought of these guys, but I was just going to give them a B overall. Like I kind of said, talking about Sonny Styles and what you said, like this is a team that really just needed guys like that, and like especially for that Sonny Styles pick, to go into it a little bit more real quick, like they're rebuilding their linebacker room. Oh, yeah. They brought in Adolphe Ayowe, they brought in Leo Chenal, they brought in Caleb on Chason. Like they're bringing in all these guys. Really, because really they were working off of Frankie Louvu.
Damn it, who the hell just retired?
Bobby Wagner.
Thank you.
He carried that team.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that was just a pick they needed. They needed a can't miss on, and I think they got it there. So, yeah, I think a solid B overall.
I'm going C, and that's because I'm low on pretty much all these guys across the board, with the exception of Katron. But like you guys said, they were targeting the right positions.
All right, moving into the NFC South, we're starting it off with the Atlanta Falcons. In their second-round pick, they got corner Avion Terrell. In the third, they got wide receiver Zachariah Branch. In the fourth, they got linebacker Kendall Daniels. In the sixth, they got defensive tackle Ontario Thompson. Also in the sixth, they got linebacker Harold Perkins Jr. And in the seventh, they got offensive tackle Ethan Onyewana. So with that second round pick there, obviously the cool story, they're joining the brothers back together with AJ Terrell and Avion Terrell. Avion Terrell for a corners are just falling all over the draft. So for him to get picked here, I think is a really solid value. He's just an athletic, smooth mover. He can play inside or outside with his size. He's a solid tackler. He can hit hard if he wants to. He's not going to do that every single play, but he has that hard-hitting ability and mindset. He gets to his top speed super quick, and just overall, like, he's tough and he's irritating to the receiver at the catch point. Like, he is a sticky type of corner. He stays locked on the whole route. He can help in run support too, which I loved, and he's already got that knack to force fumbles. He forced 8 in his college career, and of course I'd love to see the guy put on more muscle mass, which will probably help. That'll help him in those contested catches. But overall, I think he's a very solid corner that's going to immediately fill a position there to a corner room that was a little bit lackluster. Like they were working with Mike Hughes and, of course, AJ Terrell. He's very good. But I think it's going to be a fun little player to watch there with his brother in Atlanta.
With their third-round pick, they went with wide receiver Zachariah Branch out of Georgia. This guy is explosive. He's an explosive, undersized playmaker who is mostly used as a gadget guy, and his route tree needs some work. He was mostly used behind the line of scrimmage, average depth of target of 3.6. Everyone else in our top 10 was pretty much in the 10 to 15 range. But, man, this guy is just so quick, so fast, great change of direction, great return man, takes huge hits. He does it all. Just needs work on those routes, like I said. I comped him to somewhere between a Tyreek Hill and a Rondell Moore. Then I eventually landed on maybe altogether he's kind of like a Zay Flowers. But I absolutely love this pick for the Falcons. This kind of guy is exactly what they need. For the Falcons' case, I don't even care if he can't run routes. You need someone behind the line of scrimmage that's name is not Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
to do something.
Yes.
Right now they have Drake London, who 10 yards and further is one of the best in the league. Top 5 probably. Jahan Dotson, he hasn't proven anything. Lambe Zaccheaus, he's reliable out of the slot, but he's not going to be explosive for you. And then your tight end, Kyle Pitts Sr., another guy that's best 10-plus yards down the field. So it's going to be Bijan and Zachariah Branch working behind the line of scrimmage. Zachariah Branch is incredible, explosive, maybe even better than Bijan if you get him out in space. This guy can take off like crazy, and I just hope that the Falcons utilize him. I think they will because they have 2 quarterbacks that have quick arms, get out of their hands quick. They can throw that wicked sidearm to get the ball out. But, yeah, I'm excited to watch Zachariah Branch on this team.
Me too. Moves different. Carson is absolutely right there. The Falcons also had to add some new faces to the linebacker room this offseason because Caden Ellis, who is one of the best blitzing linebackers in the NFL, he went back to the Saints in free agency, which is the team he started his NFL career with.
Yep.
Also, Divine Diablo missed multiple games in 2025 due to injury, and Troy Anderson is returning from a significant knee injury after missing all of 2025. The Falcons did sign Christian Harris in free agency, who has been disappointing on the Texans since he was drafted in the 3rd round of the 2022 draft. So the Falcons drafted Kendall Daniels in the 4th and Harold Perkins Jr. in the 6th. So these guys are really intriguing. And the way the Falcons drafted this year, it makes me really intrigued. And I didn't want to buy in.
Here we go.
But these guys, Kendall Daniels, he's a tall linebacker, 6'5", 242 pounds. He was a 4-year starter in college with over 500 career snaps in the box at linebacker, out at slot corner, and back at free safety. With his length, his short area quickness, and acceleration when he's changing directions or trying to get moving, whichever way he wants to. It's not really the quickest, but when he does get ahead of steam, he can pop the ball carrier. He really reminds me of James Williams, who was drafted by the Titans in 2024. A big former safety who was a hard hitter. A guy who I remember comping to when a wave hits a little kid standing on the beach.
Yeah.
And then another very unique linebacker, Harold Perkins Jr. He's one of my favorite players in this class. My guy for me. My linebacker 4, you guys were significantly lower on him. He's just another unique player, to say the least. He is just 223 pounds, and he missed 21% of his tackles in 2025. But Perkins is a missile in pursuit. At LSU, he played significant snaps in the box at linebacker, out at slot corner, and at edge. So this team drafted just a bunch of guys, or I guess not a bunch, but a few guys who can just do a bunch of things and just straight out athletes. So I'm excited at least. I gave him a B+ here, and maybe that's high. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm just, I don't know. I like what they did here with only 6 picks, and we only talked about 4 of them. And the 4 that we talked about, I'm very excited about.
I gave them a middle of the road, slightly above middle of the road. C+, I think. I'm a big fan of Avion Terrell. And the Zachariah Branch pick that Carson explained makes a lot of sense, too. And the linebackers that you explained make a lot of sense also. So I think it's just kind of that they're drafting athletes, like you said, which is great. But
can they play football?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, C+.
I'm going to go B+, borderline A-, but I have to land on B+. Okay. I think Avion Terrell, slam dunk. He's going to... And then the story with his brother is really cool to see. But this is a rare instance where he's actually getting drafted for his talent, not his name. Yeah. And then Zachariah Branch, like I talked about, I think is going to be a real game changer for the Falcons, and it should really elevate this offense. So B+ because I'm really excited for the Falcons. Not Kean excited.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
Easy. You don't think they're Super Bowl bound?
Yeah, no.
I didn't say that this year. Yet.
It's early. All right, Carolina Panthers. In the 1st round, they got offensive tackle Monroe Freeling. In the 2nd, they drafted defensive tackle Lee Hunter. In the 3rd, wide receiver Chris Brazel the 2nd. In the 4th, cornerback Will Lee the 3rd. In the 5th, center Sam Hecht. And also in the 5th, safety Zakie Wheatley. And in the 7th round, they drafted linebacker Jackson Kuwach. And in their 1st round pick, they're with offensive tackle Monroe Freeling. He is my guy for me. Me
too.
Yeah, you too. And a huge left tackle with a large frame, super impressive athletically, and he's a very high ceiling guy. I think he's got a lot of room to grow in his game. Very quick, very smooth, switching off rushers and combo blocks. He executes them very well, and I really like how he can lead block down the field. When he gets going down the field, he looks like a large tight end running. He's got the movement ability to do that. he can also set his base nice and wide, drop that anchor, and especially after that like initial punch from the defender, he recovers and sets that anchor really, really well.
Yeah.
But the concerning part about that is sometimes he sets that anchor so well, he like stalls out. His feet stall out. So these athletic NFL guys, we don't know what can happen. But overall, I saw enough. He's a my guy for me and also for Kean. And I think he will be great in this offensive tackle room that was meh, just kind of meh. I think he'll jump into a starting spot probably,
yes,
more than likely, immediately and make a difference too.
Yes. Derek Brown has needed a good running mate on the interior defensive line with him since the Panthers drafted him in 2020, and I really think Lee Hunter could be that guy. Hunter is a my guy for me, and he's my defensive tackle 1 in this class, which is significantly higher than consensus, but I also just don't think this defensive tackle class is very good. I do love how quick Lee Hunter's hands are as he works off blockers. Big guy with quick hands will always get me intrigued. So I think he can defend the run too, with good size at 6'3.5", 318 pounds. I'm very excited about Lee Hunter, and I don't think this is a crazy range for him to get drafted in here at number 49.
And then with their third round pick here, they drafted wide receiver Chris Brazzell II from Tennessee. A guy that I liked a whole bunch more than you guys. I had him at my 9. Oh, let's go down the list. You guys had him at 18, both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that kind of fits the bill for me. It's a large-framed wide receiver, very long arms, large catch radius. He's a good route runner who can find the soft spot of the defense very well, and he carries speed well, and just... I like the way he cuts and breaks, especially for his size, too. I think he gets nice and low and can power out of those breaks. So a lot of good going for him there. He had good success against good competition like Georgia. He does struggle with separation, even with his downfield speed. He's not really a great yak guy, and he kind of has the bad habit of leaving his feet, like jumping when you don't need to. But I saw enough for me that I did like him quite a bit. Now, I do question this pick at this point for sure. And is it needed? I personally don't know. I don't think so. They're working with Tet McMillan, Xavier Legette, and Jalen Coker primarily, and they brought in a John Mechie III, and
I think they're taking a page out of the Rams book here. I think they're trying to find a Tet McMillan decoy.
That's probably probably right.
I was just thinking Legette was cooked.
Oh,
but yeah,
I've heard good things about him so far. All right. Yeah. So, do I think he was worth the pick here? I'll even admit I don't know. I would have liked to see him in like the 4th round. I would have felt better about it, but he's a big frame wide receiver, so I like the guy.
Their 4th round pick, corner Willie the third out of Texas A&M. Keenan and I are low on. Yeah. We both have him as our corner 17. He has great length. He can mirror the ball and press. He's well balanced. He has a good downhill trigger. But when he uses that downhill trigger, lots of times he just dives to the ankles as a tackler. And then he just doesn't have the speed to keep up with receivers once they become disconnected. Right now, he's just going to be a depth piece behind Mike Jackson.
Yeah.
And I don't see a long-term future for him as a field time. I don't see him seeing field time in the NFL. And I think that if he does, then
they're in trouble.
He's going to prove why he should not see the field. So.
Yes. Center Cade Mays had a breakout season for the Panthers in 2025. Then he went and got the bag from the Lions in free agency. Then they signed center Luke Fortner to a prove-it 1-year deal with just $1.325 million guaranteed, as he showed some promise on the Saints in 2025. But I think that Sam Hecht could be their long-term answer at center and a steal in the 5th round. He was my offensive lineman 12 and number 2 center in this class. Carson, where do you have him? You had him a little bit lower than
Sam Hecht?
Yeah. I think you had him at like 18, I want to say. Sorry, now I put you on the spot.
I know. I had him at 15.
15, okay. Yeah, so we're decently high on Sam Hecht, all things considered. I only had him behind Connor Lew in the center as far as centers go. What first caught my eye about Hecht is that he is super agile out in space. In the run game, this guy gets out off the snap as a lead blocker with the quickness of a fullback. He's not a big bruiser, but I feel confident that he can line up and block almost anybody in space. In pass pro, his anchor is weaker with a smaller size, but you will rarely find him reaching because he can get his butt and his base square with the defender almost immediately. I really like Sam Hecht, and I think that they found something here in him.
The Panthers' second fifth-round pick is safety Zakee Wheatley at Penn State. That's 2 Penn State guys now in an episode that I actually like.
How about it?
Zakee Wheatley, as a Penn State fan, I always see him making plays, and it seems like he always just has a nose for the ball. Long and rangy. He bursts through the line of scrimmage as a blitzer. He can tackle. Good in run support. He's aggressive. Just not super athletic. No elite ball skills to force interceptions, but long and rangy, playmaking safety that holds his own around the line of scrimmage. I comped him to a Cam Curl, and I think that he could play that role with some refining. He has a path to playing time here, with the safeties ahead of him being Trevon Moehrig, Nick Scott, and then Lathan Ransom is there as well. But I could see him getting playing time, and then if injuries or just earning it either way, he could get a chance, and I think that he could show his niche.
Niche?
His
Is that
niche
it? Is that how you're
skills?
going to end the sentence? Because niche is an adjective.
His-
Oh, wait, no.
No,
wait,
it's
wait,
not.
No, I guess not. What was I thinking of? I thought like niche could be an adjective.
I think you're right. Like his niche skills.
He could show off his niche.
Well, define it for me,
his-
and I'll see if you're right.
It's like a small group.
Niche. It's like a very
Sure.
very specific skill.
Yeah.
Or very specific task.
Specialized target segment of a market or an area of focus tailored to a specific audience.
Is it an adjective?
This one's a
be a
noun.
noun.
Noun. Okay, so I
Yeah.
used it correctly.
You did.
He can show his niche.
Yeah, because I guess in ecology, especially, refers to a specific role and position of a species occupied
Yes.
within
Yes.
an ecosystem.
Yes, he can display his niche on the Panthers.
Okay.
Perfect use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where was I? Jackson Kuwach. So the Panthers did spend big in free agency to bring in linebacker Devin Lloyd. Also, Trevin Wallace is slotted in as the other linebacker starter, who's been mid at best for them through the first 2 NFL seasons. So there's no proven depth behind those 2 guys. So could Jackson Kuwach climb up this linebacker depth chart as the 227th pick? I could see it, honestly. I see Jackson Kuwach as a Jake Golday light. He's 6'4", 232 pounds, and moves really well with that length. He's comfortable working around blocks at the line of scrimmage with that edge-type build and play style. Overall, not just this draft, but in free agency this year, I love what the Panthers are doing. I think they're getting their shit together. Maybe I'm gonna look really stupid for saying this because it's the Panthers, but I think
No, I think their coaching staff is
Yes.
putting it together as a few years go by.
Yeah.
New coaching staff.
Dave Canales, I think, is a really good coach.
Very.
But this draft overall pulled at my heartstrings. I love the first 2, don't like the next 2, and then I'm pretty good. I love Sam Hecht, Zakee Wheatley. I'm lower on than Carson, but I'm still okay with. And then Jackson Kuwach, I could see a role for him. Overall, I gave him an A-. I think they did really good things here.
B+ for me. I liked a lot of these guys. I think their picks made a lot of sense, and I was higher on like Chris Brazzell than you guys. So yeah, I think a B+. It feels like a super solid draft here, and yeah, I really do think with Dave Canales and I'm blanking on their GM that they brought in.
Dan Morgan.
Yeah, I think that they're putting it together. They're putting together a real contender here. They're really turning it around.
I'm going B-. I like Monroe Freeling, and I'm not as high on the other guys as the rest of you guys. I talked about the corner pick, so I'm really going to rip at that. To take Willie the third whenever there's guys like Keith Abney still on the board,
Sure,
I
yeah.
think that's a mistake. And then the wide receiver pick as well. So B-.
New Orleans Saints in the first round, they drafted wide receiver Jordan Tyson. In the second, defensive tackle Kristen Miller. In the third, tight end Oscar Delp. In the fourth, guard Jeremiah Wright. And also in the fourth, wide receiver Bryce Lance. And in the fifth, safety Lorenzo Styles Jr. In the sixth, wide receiver Barian Brown. And in the seventh, corner TJ Hall. Fair warning, I want to call on you guys to see what you guys think about this first one, but I'll start us off with that first pick, wide receiver Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. You guys liked him a bunch more than me. I kind of saw him as just somewhat boring to me, in my opinion. He's got good size, good speed. His route running is quick and sharp. He's a decent yards after catch guy. He's got good toughness. He can track the ball deep. Like, he can find the open space on the field. Like, he's not, to me, your flashy wide receiver, but he does a lot of things very well. And he's not flashy in the way that he's going to get a whole bunch of yak, and he's not super strong with the ball in his hands. And also, I'm curious to hear what you guys think, because he, of course, has that very long injury history of like missing almost half his college games. So adding to the wide receiver room for New Orleans, I think that's the right move. I think they needed it. They were really working with Chris Olave, and that's
who also has
who's always injured. So I think they did good in looking at that. But if you guys don't mind, I want to hear a quick snippet from you because I'm curious.
Yeah, I think similar to George Pickens coming out of college, when he shows his upside, he's incredible. But he just has those moments where George Pickens is boneheaded Jordan Tyson's injuries. But when they're on the field, they're a true wide receiver one. And I think that's exactly what the Saints need with Chris Olave time and time again, showing that he isn't that, even though they want him to be. So I think this is going to be great for a young quarterback that they seemingly have a lot of trust in Tyler Shuck. So I think that this is a pretty darn good pick. They could have went a safer route with other receivers, but I think true wide receiver one, when they're healthy, I think he would be the wide receiver one of the class.
Yeah, I think he's the most talented wide receiver in this class. I think he's like a video game character. Some of the stuff that he does also gets him hurt sometimes, but he's fun to watch, and I had him as my guy because I don't want to bet against this guy because he's just there are a few wide receivers like this guy with the way that he plays, and he was my number 8 overall on my big board, and he got drafted at number 8, so I feel pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, you're dead on. With their next pick in round 2, pick 42 overall, defensive tackle Kristen Miller out of Georgia. My guy for me, and maybe me alone. Me alone. So I had him at 2 overall for me, and you guys had him a bit lower. Carson at 8, Kean at 9, but here's why I love this guy and why you should buy in. Well, for one, this team, this is definitely a spot of need for this team, if not more than depth. They have Davon Godshaw, solid player, but I think to get more depth than a guy like Kristen Miller is very smart. Build those lines up. So he was my guy for me because he's got a big motor, really good size and length. He is relentless on trying to get to the quarterback or chase down the ball. He just does not give up. Powerful and explosive. He's pretty good laterally at shedding blockers and getting off them there and keeping the action right in front of his face so he doesn't lose it and doesn't get beat. Strong and sturdy base. Heavy hands, deliver that strong knockback that you want in a defensive tackle. Just has a lot of that good, powerful stuff going for him. He is a little bit lean if you want a guy who's like a true drain clogging type of guy. I'd like to see him put on a little bit more muscle if he's going to be used in that role. And I think he could use a little bit of anticipation work with run game. But other than that, I love his big motor, his size, his physicality, and how he can keep the play in front of him too. But yeah, I think he's a solid pickup for the Saints here in the second round.
Their third round pick was Oscar Delp out of Georgia. That's a tight end. And as much as I love Oscar Delp, I am a little bit worried about his path to playing time here. They have Juwan Johnson, who is one of the better tight ends in the league after the catch. And then they just brought in Noah Fant as well.
Yeah.
But from a Oscar Delp standpoint alone, he's super smooth and he's fast too. I said if he would have ran at the combine, I think he would have ran in the low 4.5s. Some people thought I was crazy for saying this. But he had my back. At his pro day, he ran a 4.49.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he looks fast on film and had to take that quick little victory lap. Along with that, he's a good pass blocker as well. PFF grade of 73.5 on 107 pass block snaps. For whatever reason, Georgia hardly ever used him. Only 24 receptions.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that the Saints see the vision that I see and his speed and his smoothness and his route running ability. Get this guy the ball and give him some playing time above Noah Fant and hopefully through Juwan Johnson eventually.
I think the fact that he was drafted, that's like early round 3. The fact that he was drafted in the top 100, I think, is good for his future in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Good for maybe not immediate playing time, but soon.
Yeah, I comped him to a Dalton Kincaid because he's athletic, smooth, able after the catch, nice hands. I just see him as like I said, Dalton Kincaid-esque player, but more pass blocking ability.
Despite right guard Cesar Ruiz consistently struggling according to PFF's metrics, so in just one of his 6 NFL seasons, he had above an overall grade of 57.6. All the rest of those seasons have been low. He was a former first-round pick by them, but Jeremiah Wright could honestly bring some competition to the right guard spot. Maybe Kellen Moore is tired of Cesar Ruiz's ass. I think Wright is a little slower in the feet, but he's got a good anchor. At 331 pounds, he really reminds me of the potato in the drain style of interior defensive lineman, but on the interior offensive line. He can lock a defender down if he can get into his pads quick enough.
The Saints' second fourth-round pick was wide receiver Bryce Lance out of North Dakota State. For whatever reason, I guess I just love North Dakota State this year.
It's a good state, I guess.
And
up north.
Bryce Lance, even though he did play in the FCS, he showed that he has great ball tracking and body adjustments. He has good build-up speed. He can run past guys. He backed that up in the combine with his 40 time. Good quickness. He was a go-to guy all season long, and I think that's a big thing for his future here on the Saints, because with the Saints ahead of him having two very injury-prone guys in Jordan Tyson and Chris Olave, there's a very real possibility where Bryce Lance sees playing time as wide receiver 2, maybe even wide receiver 1, the same role that Mason Tipton had to play some while ago. Kevin Austin Jr. got some playing time. The Saints have had to play no-name guys for a long time now. Bub Means got playing time, and he popped off.
Devon Vele?
Yes, I think he's a starter this year.
Yeah, they love him.
So Bryce Lance, I can see. He definitely has all the ability. He showed in the FCS. He just needs to prove it in the NFL now, and he has a real path to playing time here. I'm excited for Bryce Lance, who is a my guy for me.
Mm-hmm. You do love him. While the Saints safety room is pretty deep right now with Justin Reed, Jonas Sanker, Julian Blackman, and Jordan Howden. The other Styles brother deserves to be mentioned after the performance he put on at the Combine. He ran a 4.29 40-yard dash and a 39-inch vertical. He's actually a former wide receiver who put up at least 300 receiving yards in both 2021 and 2022 at Notre Dame. So this was in college. He was playing wide receiver. Then he transferred to Ohio State. They're like, yeah, you suck at wide receiver. We'll put you in safety and slot corner, which he only had 1 year as a starter on defense, which was 2025. But he's also a special teams dog. He had 2 kick returns in 2025. One of them went for a touchdown. And he also had 1 punt return in 2025, and that went for 36 yards. So this guy, speed. It's all speed there.
Speed?
Likely the role he's going to play in the NFL is just special teams, and that's fine, you know. Also, we already talked about it. I guess Kellen Moore quickly got tired of his depth wide receivers in year 1 of this rebuild, so he drafted a third wide receiver in this draft, and Berrien Brown. Goodbye, Tipton, Austin, Polk. Yeah, you didn't mention Jalen Polk.
Oh, yeah.
What a bust.
He's an anti-my guy. Yeah.
We were right on that.
We were.
Polk slander. Also Bub memes, of course. Berrien Brown, he was my wide receiver 33, so I'm not high on him at all. Berrien Brown is really only good at kick returns and plays where he can get the ball on the move and in space. Everything else about the wide receiver position just seems unnatural and kind of laggy to him. But overall, this draft class, I would say pretty good. I was pretty impressed with, even though I'm lower on Kristen Miller and Bryce Lance. I feel like these guys are going to play roles, and I think they're going to fit into the team well. And Jordan Tyson really carries this because I really, really am excited to watch him in the NFL. I gave them an A-.
I gave them a C+.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm not as fired up about the Jordan Tyson pick as you guys are. I mean, I know and I hope that's gonna backfire in my face, because if he stays healthy and if Chris Olave stays healthy, there's gonna be some super exciting moments, and they're gonna be very, very exciting to watch and make a lot of offense, which will be really great and different for them. So I don't know if they'll know how to handle it. But I like Kristen Miller, and the rest of the guys I'm not super fired up about. I'm not as big of a fan as Bryce Lance, and I don't know, just a lot of these don't fire me up very much. I'm just not all fired up. Yeah. C+.
The 2 picks I talked about, and Oscar Delp and Bryce Lance, I am fired up about. And then Jordan Tyson, I'm super excited for as well. And I love their mindset of getting their quarterback, who I think they kind of want to prove that he's a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's going to backfire. So one of these years it's going to fail.
Yeah, and they're showing that by bringing him all the help that he needs for weapons. So I do like that. I'm just giving him a B+ though, because I like the weapons. But the other picks here and there, I think that there are better options on the board, in my opinion.
Luckily, they brought in Zach Wilson just in case.
Oh,
Good.
thank goodness.
Good.
Thank goodness.
Look out, moms in New Orleans.
Yeah, baby.
Eating them
Bourbon
too.
Street.
Oh, never mind. San Antonio.
San Antonio women.
Oh, look out, Bourbon Street. Zach Wilson's in town.
Oh, man.
All right, wrapping up this division with, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
With the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the first round, they drafted edge Reuben Bain Jr. In the second, they drafted linebacker Josiah Trotter. In the third, wide receiver Ted Hurst. In the fourth round, corner Keontae Scott. In the fifth round, defensive tackle DeMonte Capehart and guard Billy Schroth. And in the sixth, tight end Bauer Sharp. So that first pick 15 overall, edge Reuben Bain Jr. out of Miami. My guy for me, I think Kean had him at 2, and Carson had him a few down from that. Yeah, number 4.
I do.
Yep, hater. Another guy, good motor, tough play style, an explosive type of power, smooth and fluid hips. He's a really strong tackle finisher too. He's the type of linebacker that can bully tackles. There's currently a bug.
We got a stink bug on the fly.
Yeah, flying around our light. Stay out of the camera.
Oh, there we go. Oh, damn it.
Well, he's landed for
dust
now.
out.
Anywho, I like that Reuben Bain has really aggressive strikes, good power, and an impressive anchor. It's really a nice combination he's got there. Really good bend, too. And also, of course, big bonus, coached by Hall of Famer Jason Taylor. I think that has something to do with how the guy was coached up and his skill set that he has. A little bit shorter arms, kind of average speed and burst. Might kind of struggle if he's got to chase outside. So hopefully he doesn't need to do that much. And he's not really your flashy playmaker, but a super solid and safe floor. So I think for the Buccaneers to add him into the mix and probably get him right into the starting lineup after losing some guys, right?
On edge, well, they've been looking for an edge for a while.
Yeah.
Since Shaq Barrett left.
Yeah, since Barrett years ago. That's what I was thinking of. But I think...
They lost Hassan Reddick.
Oh,
For what that's
damn it.
worth.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Deion Jones.
Yeah.
I knew they lost
He's
some guys.
old.
Yeah.
So Reuben Bain will come in and give that little burst of energy and life into that edge position.
Did you guys? I don't know why I get these notifications because I love football and I get every single notification possible. But I
Sure.
saw that Reuben Bain changed his face mask, and so now it's like the
Yes.
yeah,
Did
it's
he?
like all the lines.
Thank
so like
goodness.
it's kind of like a Bane
Bain
Nice.
mask. That's
Good.
awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Also, I'm now seeing spots on my screen from looking at the lights too long.
Yeah. He's now on the floor, by the way, if you're
Oh, okay.
interested.
Okay.
Yeah. Their second round pick, linebacker Josiah Trotter out of Missouri. Josiah Trotter is my guy for me. I have him as my linebacker 4. Keenan has him as his linebacker 3. Cody at 6. Josiah Trotter is the best downhill linebacker in this class, and I like that the Buccaneers use this draft capital on him, showing that they agree with that. This guy is excellent at blitzing. He swims and sheds blocks to get to the line, behind the line of scrimmage. Relentless till he gets to the ball. He has edge rusher level pass rush abilities, and I think that if not a linebacker, he could put up a strong fight as an edge rusher. He backs up all this with PFF grades, 89.2 in the run, 81.6 in the pass, and overall just a great downhill linebacker with a killer pass rush that's consistently making plays behind the line of scrimmage. I comped him to a Frankie Louvu, and I think he's probably going to be a day one starter. Now, they must have liked what they saw in Siracea Dennis enough to get a guy that's similar to him, as he's great around the line of scrimmage, but absolutely terrible in coverage.
Yeah.
47.9 coverage grade, but I don't think they're going to ask him to do that. They want him to help that pass rush like you guys were just talking about because they really need it, and then just be a force in the middle. So I'm super excited to watch him.
In the third round, they picked up wide receiver Ted Hurst out of Georgia State to add to their room with an Emeka Ibuka, Jalen McMillan, Tez Johnson, Chris Godwin. So they're really just kind of beefing up this room with a guy that's got a lot of potential, I guess I'd say I'd describe him as. He's a really large framed, so of course the guy I would like, but like long-legged. He's your downfield threat is his specialty. So I'm hoping that they're hoping that this will help free up Emeka Ibuka a little bit, give him a little bit of bait, I guess, to kind of get some attention off of him. whenever he is on the field, and he has a really we've seen this with players in the past that kind of specialize in it. He's got a really good, solid release. He's got a really good release game to get off the line and get open. He's got, for as big as he is, he's got pretty good speed, especially downfield. Obviously, that's his game. He can adjust well downfield too, so he's not just some fast guy that'll run down there and can't catch. He can track the ball really well. Good feet, especially along those sidelines, and he just has a lot of that. He's your true deep ball threat wide receiver. Kind of replacing Mike
Evans.
Mike Evans, I guess.
He's the next Mike Evans. You heard it here first.
Yeah, sure. I was going to say he feels more only downfield than Mike Evans was. But, yeah, so I think he'll be a really good addition in here and be used hopefully in that way to take some attention off of those underneath guys, and I think it could work really well.
So we play fantasy football that has an IDP position, many IDP positions. Yeah. And as I'm looking on the waiver wire for defensive backs that get a lot of tackles to give me some points, it seems like Buccaneers defensive backs are always on there. They have so many guys that just randomly go off for 10-plus tackles. Tyke Smith, Zion McCollum, Antoine Winfield, of course. They have so many guys that just tackle, and I think that another one of those guys could be their fourth-round pick, cornerback Keontae Scott out of Miami. Now, he played corner in college, but it looks like he was drafted as a safety, which I very much so like. He has the strength, athleticism, and mentality of a hard-hitting, playmaking nickel corner, so I think that translates perfectly to safety. He's kind of like an undersized linebacker. He had 5 forced fumbles and 13 tackles for loss this season, shoots the gap to blitz the quarterback, blows up plays, forces fumbles in the run game, strength to fight through blocks, long arms, just slow hips in coverage, and he has a slow reaction time to routes and route breaks. But he's just excellent at the line of scrimmage, and he gets worse further downfield he goes. So I think as either a box safety or a nickel corner, he's going to be great. And I think, like I said, he can be another one of those Bucs corners that just racks up tackles. And I'm excited to watch him and see how much playing time he ends up earning.
Yes, I completely agree. Their fifth-round pick, the first one, Devontae Capehart out of Clemson. I really hope that Capehart gets a chance to prove that he's more than just Peter Wood's sidekick. It's a pretty crowded room of interior defensive linemen with Vita Vea, Kalijah Kancey, A'Shawn Robinson, Rakeem Nunez-Roches, and Elijah Roberts. Capehart was my defensive tackle 7, and I think he's a heavy-handed power rusher who can shove offensive linemen to the ground or move them backwards to disrupt plays. He's a line of scrimmage wrecker in either the run game or pass game. He lacks some bend and elusiveness, so he can't often shoot gaps without quite a bit of contact with the offensive lineman. But the longer the play goes on, the worse he's going to make it for the offense. He looks real good with real potential, but he is a sixth-year senior, and the question will be asked until he proves himself. Did the offense's fear of Peter Woods make things easier for him? I don't know. I don't really think so. I had him at defensive tackle 7. Again, I really think this guy's talent. Yeah, it took him longer, but I don't care about the age thing. Their second fifth-round pick. So while the Bucs do return all 5 of their starters along the O-line, center Graham Barton was the only one who played more than 12 games in 2025. That's crazy. They struggled as a whole compared to 2024, allowing Baker Mayfield to get pressured 54 more times on 50 less dropbacks comparing 2025 to 2024. And I think you saw that.
Yeah.
Baker struggled more last year than he did in 2024. His OC also left to go to the Jags, so that probably played a part too. But
Definitely.
Billy Schroth adds more depth if there are more rainy days ahead on this O-line. Schroth he's not a very fluid athlete, and he plays stiff, but that also means that when he gets into a defender's pads, they cannot bend him. They cannot rip at him. They cannot get him twisted. Schroth withstands opposing forces like how Gotham steel pans don't get dented when a car runs over them in their commercials.
Very well said.
That's whenever I was watching it, I was like, Gotham steel. I love this draft class. This is my favorite one that we're going to talk about today. Spoiler alert, it wasn't my A+ draft class. We talked about that in our last episode that I still have not posted yet. That's on me. It's all finished editing. It'll get up. But I gave this draft class an A. I think that is very solid top to bottom, and I think that they got a lot of good players who can play significant snaps for them almost immediately.
I gave this draft class. I was a big fan of it too. I gave it a B plus, only because I wanted to see maybe a little bit more line depth, just because of that clear struggle from Baker. And I agree that's probably a lot to do with the new OC. That happens sometimes, but I cannot deny the fact that everywhere they added was a true need, and it's going to make a big difference for their team. And I like a lot of these guys. So yeah, I think a solid. What did I say? B?
Yeah.
B plus.
B plus.
Yeah, B plus.
You're telling me you don't feel good about a man by the name of Benjamin Chukwuma backing up Tristan Wirfs on the left tackle?
Well, I mean, that's a great name, but no, I don't.
I'm going to go A minus. I think Ruben Bain was a great value, even though I'm not a huge fan of them. And then their first 4 picks I really do like. But I agree with Cody about I'd like to see some O-line depth. Baker was getting smothered. Even the run game struggled more. Bucky Irving couldn't go off like he did in his rookie season. So, yeah, I'd like to see more O-line depth. But overall, I like what they did, A minus.
Moving to the NFC West, started off with the Arizona Cardinals. In the first round, they drafted running back Jeremiah Love. In the second, guard Chase Bisontis. In the third round, quarterback Carson Beck. In the fourth, defensive tackle Caleb Proctor. In the fifth, wide receiver Reggie Virgil. In the sixth round, linebacker Carson. That's a good name, spelled right too. Carson Scherer. Round 7. Offensive tackle Jaden Williams. So starting off with that first round pick 3 overall, of course, running back Jeremiah Love from Notre Dame. My guy for me, was it for you guys?
No.
I was gonna say you guys didn't like him as much as me. Yeah, so he was obviously our favorite running back, but only my guy for me. To me, I described him as that. Oh, that one got in front of the camera right there.
Hopefully you guys can see it.
Yeah.
We don't look crazy.
Oh!
That had to get in
Don't
front
mess
of
with
the camera.
don't mess with the camera. Anywho, I'll keep going.
Oh, but anyways, Jeremiah Love he was my number 25 player in this class. So me and Carson were significantly lower on.
Yeah. I described him as the Goldilocks running back size. He's your 3-down back. He can pass protect. He takes care of the ball. He had no fumbles in college. He's a very capable and natural receiver too. I think he's got good elusiveness, good power, good vision, and he's got enough speed and acceleration to hit the correct gap or on the edge if he needs it. I love the way he plays. He's got really good vision. He's not afraid of contact. Fun to watch. Very under control, and he's just an overall unique style of running back. The only real dig I had at him was he doesn't have like your home run speed, but he wins by being balanced and controlled and smart. He just doesn't have that speed. Oh, I got the next one too. I'm on. Guard Chase Bisontis is who they took in the second round from Texas A&M with pick 34 overall. I wasn't as huge of a fan. I was more of a fan than you guys were. I think I had him at like my 10. And you guys had him lower than that by quite a bit.
Yeah,
Kian was 16, Carson was 13. Yeah, I was 10. So not as big of a fan of Chase Bisontis, but I did really like his talented hands. He's got really good hand fighting ability. He's got a good chop move. He can stick with moving defenders really well. He can change direction efficiently. He plays tough, keeps the feet chopping. He can get overpowered, though, and thrown off his balance too easy to me sometimes. Almost like he's like late to the block or something is what I described him as. His feet can almost kind of work ahead of him. Like they get a little bit sloppy sometimes. Shorter arms. So that's kind of the reasons we don't really like him too much. And he kind of plays a little bit too upright, which causes him to either lunge or get bent backwards too easy. So...
not in a good way.
Not in a good way, but I don't know if there's a good way to get bent backwards.
I guess not bent backwards.
Maybe chiropractic.
Maybe that could be, invert table. Is that what they call the thing where you lay on it and go backwards?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, not as big a fan of this pick here in the second round for them.
The Cardinals' third-round pick was quarterback Carson Beck out of Miami. Carson Beck showed all throughout the college football playoffs that he gives his guys a chance to get the ball with good ball placement and adjustment to his power and touch on the throw. He's a good, accurate downfield passer, NFL size. He's an experienced, mature, well-rounded quarterback with limited upside. He's an average rusher at best, and he makes bad, risky decisions when under pressure, which is why I went with my comp, more athletic version of Jared Goff. Now, I like his fit for this offense, actually, because they're really shaping up to have a lot of good weapons here. Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson.
Who is Michael Wilson now? That guy went off.
I know, right? Kendrick Bourne went off a couple of games last year as well. Trey McBride, and obviously Cody just talked about they drafted Jeremiah Love. His path to playing time is currently unclear. Jacoby Brissett's there. They promised him the starting job week 1. They brought in Gardner Minshew as well.
Oh, boy.
To me, this feels like a Carson Beck gets his first start in week 11 type of situation, where Jacoby Brissett is maybe good for the first 3 weeks, but now with a lot of the year as a starter and then all the offseason, teams are going to figure him out. Teams figure out quarterbacks, especially a guy like Jacoby Brissett that's probably pretty predictable. He just gives Trey McBride like 15 targets a game. So then they'll move on from him, and the fans will be, chanting for Carson Beck. They want to see him. And I think that he'll just bypass Gardner Minshew pretty quickly. So I'd say week 9 to 11 range for Carson Beck starting, and then we'll see what he can do in the NFL.
Yeah. The Cardinals also have been trying to get their interior defensive line figured out for years. So 39-year-old Calais Campbell was their most effective interior defensive lineman in 2025, despite spending a first-round pick on Darius Robinson in 2024 and a first-round pick on Walter Nolan III in 2025. And this new regime still thinks they need more help there, so they drafted Caleb Proctor at 104.
Yeah.
Proctor was my DT12, and my comp for him was Grayson Halton of the FCS. So Proctor doesn't really impress me near as much as Grayson Halton because Halton played against SEC competition, and Halton is a slightly better chaser and maneuverer in the open field. Proctor is still a great athlete, and maybe he can make the jump from the FCS to the NFL with ease, but that is tough, and I need to see it before I believe it. Reggie Virgil, he might not be needed too often with Marvin Harrison Jr., Michael Wilson, and 2 free agent newcomers, Kendrick Bourne and Devin Duvernay, but he was the first wide receiver drafted by this new regime, so maybe they see something in him. I don't see anything in him. He was my wide receiver 36. So I wasn't high on him at all because he lacks strength with his skinny frame. He gradually slows down over many steps to change directions, and he seems kind of tight when he does. Speed is average at best with poor acceleration. His press release off the line of scrimmage involves him just trying to run around the cornerback, and I don't think it'll work in the NFL. My comp for him was Robbie Anderson since he changed his name to Robbie Chosen in February 2023, but with less speed. Over that time, since February of 2023, Robbie Chosen has a total of 10 receptions, 184 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown, and that's 3 seasons worth.
That is great. That is great yards per catch.
Yeah, that's Chosen's game.
He does that.
That's Chosen's game. Yeah.
Also, the linebacker room has needed help for years, with Mac Wilson Sr. as their surprising leader, meaning surprising as in he does not deserve to be a linebacker 1 on an NFL team.
That's the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. So with just Wilson, Cody Simon, Owen Popo, and Jack Gibbons there as competition for snaps, not much competition for snaps, we could very well see Carson Scherer earn his way to the field soon. Terrible first name, but
Okay.
Spelled well.
Okay.
Spelled correct.
but just a 1-year starter at Iowa. He always keeps his shoulders square with the ball carrier as he's moving in to make a tackle, and he's good at working through traffic while keeping his eyes on the ball carrier. He's not athletically special, like the one we have sitting across over here.
You should see this guy on the turf.
Yeah.
The golf turf.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he won't make any flashy plays, but he'll likely be near most plays. So I'm fine with Scherer there in the 6th round. Overall, though, I gave this draft class a C-. I was not in love with it. I think that Jeremiah Love, I think it's going to bite him in the ass at number 3, a lot like Ashton Genty bit the Raiders in the ass last year. Chase Pasantis, Cody said it, we were lower on. Carson Beck is a safer quarterback prospect, but he's not the future. There weren't really a whole lot of future quarterbacks in this draft class, so, I mean, you can't fault him too much for there. C-.
Yeah. I'll be nice and give him a C just because I like Jeremiah Love so much. The rest, I'm not a fan of. I was lower on Carson Beck than you guys, and Caleb Proctor, of course, and I don't know. Just the Cardinals needed so much, and it doesn't feel like they got so much.
Yeah.
Just for having a pick in every round, so it's not like they were without a first round. They nailed their first round pick to me.
Yeah.
I think that's a can't miss. I think that's going to be a dynamic duo with Jeremiah Love and Tyler Algier. I think that's going to be great.
Or James Conner.
Or James Conner there too. I mean,
Trey Benson.
Oh,
is Amari DiMercado still there?
No.
No, Bam Knight is though.
Oh man, that running back room is going to be nuts. The rest not good. C-.
I'm going D+. I agree with everything you guys said, except I just want to add one more thing. I don't think the teardrop from Jeremiah Love to Jadarian Price is that huge. Not enough to justify a number 3 overall pick.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that they could trade back and get more picks with that. Like Cody said, it just feels like they have a lot of needs, and they really didn't. I don't come out of this draft as the Cardinals feeling like I filled any holes.
Yeah.
I feel like running back is one of the last positions that you fill if you can, because it's like if you're gonna spend money or draft capital, your problem is probably bigger than your running back. As the Raiders showed, you need a line to have a running back. You can't have a running back without a line. It just doesn't work.
It worked with Jahmyr Gibbs going number 12 overall, Bijan Robinson going number 5,
something like that.
8,
I think.
Top
8,
10.
number 8 overall.
Yeah.
But they went to areas or teams. Sorry, I don't know why I say areas. Teams with good offensive lines.
Yeah.
The Ashton Genty did not go to a team with a good offensive line. Jeremiah Love is not going to a team with a good offensive line. I think that it could be nightmares.
Yeah, probably trading back would have been the right play. I agree. That could have been better, but we'll see.
They didn't need him either. I mean, James
No.
Conner, obviously, this might be his last year.
Yeah.
But they did just go get Tyler Algier. They would have been fine.
I would have felt
bigger
okay.
holes.
I would have felt okay with
Yeah.
Tyler Algier. He's proven to be a good enough back.
Yeah, he was a 1,000-yard rusher before Bijan came along.
Yeah.
Honestly, poor Tyler Algier.
Yeah, solid.
Throughout the offseason, this whole Jeremiah Love situation has just kind of felt like the situation of like my sibling or somebody wants it, so I want it so that they can't have it.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
draft season long, it was like, okay, the Chiefs want him at like 9 overall. They want him really bad, and then it's like the Saints want him really bad at 8 overall. There's like, he's getting mocked to the Commanders at 7. The Commanders need a running back.
Yeah.
Then out of nowhere, it was like Titans want him at 4. And then draft day was like, the Cardinals get him at 3.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Let's take him.
There was even rumors that the Giants wanted him at 5,
Yeah.
which made no sense to me.
Yeah.
None at all.
That's just what it felt like to me. It's like he just kept going up for no reason other than I want him because he wants him, so he must be good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think you nailed it there. Okay, the Los Angeles Rams in the first round, they selected quarterback Ty Simpson. In the second, tight end Max Clare. In the third, offensive tackle Keegan Trost. In the sixth, wide receiver C.J. Daniels. And in the seventh, defensive tackle Tim Keenan III. So, Ty Simpson, the one that shocked a lot of people, including us.
Yeah, we were screaming.
Yeah, but then it makes a lot of sense. And I guess, well, first round might not make a lot of sense. But anyways, Ty Simpson, he's a very confident passer. He comes with a good pocket presence. He can throw on the run. He's got a really quick and tight throwing motion, which means when he's under pressure in the pocket, he can just kind of flick the ball out very well. Really strong arm to rip it when he needs to also. And he can throw off balance, like I said, with on the run too. He can run if he needs to. Pretty good feet. He seems pretty smart and decisive also. I think he's got that good quarterback brain, and he's not just an athlete back there playing quarterback. I think he does have that quarterback type of brain. He is kind of slow. Like I said, he's not like your fastest guy, but he can run. He didn't really showcase a lot of that deep ball talent in college either. But overall, I think he's a confident passer, and I think was this a good pick for the Rams? I don't know if this is what they really needed if they're going to try to win again, which is kind of what it seems like with their most recent pickup with Myles Garrett. So that made it make less sense to me, but this is going to a good situation, and this is a good future pick, in my opinion, to be able to sit behind Matt Stafford and have all these studs to work and practice with, too. I think it's a good spot and a decent fit looking at the future.
The Rams' next pick, which I'll just say right now, looking back on this draft for the Rams, I'm kind of baffled, honestly. Second round pick, tight end Max Clare, Ohio State. So Max Clare is just feels like a very safe do-it-all tight end. Very well-rounded, specializes as a reliable receiver. He has a full route tree, runs good routes, creates separation. He can get upfield after the catch, but he's not going to knock your socks off. And I comped him to a Jake Tunges because he just well-rounded, pretty good receiver. But so he's my tight end 3, Cody's 5, Kean's 8. In this tight end room, he is buried here.
Yeah.
So this year, they draft Max Clare in the second round tight end. Last year was Terrence Ferguson, another tight end in the second round. They already have Tyler Higbee and Colby Parkinson. For whatever reason, Sean McVay and the Rams love. So after wasting your first round pick on Ty Simpson, not helping, I say wasting by not helping Matt Stafford win this year.
Correct.
You go back to back with Max Clare, who's another guy that's not going to make a difference this year unless you force him into the offense. I don't know what their plan is with him. I don't see them keeping 4 tight ends on the team, so one of them's got to go, and I don't think it's going to be either one of their second-round picks from the last 2 years. So I'm just baffled by the lack of help the Rams brought in for Matt Stafford with their 2 most valuable picks in the draft. I don't care if you trade them away and get something. It feels like they're building for the distant future with these picks, and that's not going to win you a Super Bowl this year.
Yep. In the third round, though, so the best NFL teams do know how to prioritize depth in the trenches. So enter offensive tackle Keegan Trost in the third round and defensive tackle Tim Keenan in the third and the seventh round. So Keegan Trost, he put up crazy PFF grades in 2025 with a 92.0 overall PFF grade, 91.4 run blocking grade, 85.4 pass blocking grade, just 7 pressures allowed, just 1 sack allowed on 864 snaps at right tackle at Missouri in the SEC. Just 7 pressures allowed.
Daggone
wild.
That was
Now
a
that's a
crazy
tackle.
season. Yeah. So Trost is 6'4" and 5'8", 311 pounds with 32 and 3/8 inch arms. He's very agile and light on his feet. He's quick in his kick slides and pass pro, and it's fun to watch him climb up levels in the run game. I think the Rams might have honestly found something here in Keegan Trost, and I'm really bummed I didn't watch him earlier because this guy, I think they got something. Tim Keenan in the 7th is your standard potato in the drain.
Perfect.
He likely will not move upfield. He likely won't get moved to downfield either. He's just stuck there. He can shuffle laterally pretty well to stay in front of the running back in hopes of getting hands on him as he crosses the line of scrimmage. But his job is to eat up blocks and move the pile to close up or fill lanes in the run game. He does this job very well, and it does really help his teammates wreak havoc. He just doesn't really add any other skills to the defense. And then also, while many analysts believed that the Rams would prioritize a wide receiver earlier in the draft to work with Puka and Devontae, I actually am intrigued by the selection of C.J. Daniels in the 6th round, which what I think is good value for him. He was my wide receiver 14, which is decently high, especially compared to Carson. Carson didn't like C.J. Daniels. I think you had him like wide receiver 22,
yep.
Oh, boom.
Dang.
I think Daniels is a wide receiver who, if you throw to him, good things usually happen. He'll catch most passes and move the chains. And he showed throughout Miami's college football playoff run that he can make tough catches in big moments. But getting right into the grades, I gave them a D-. Because, and there are a lot of people who support the Ty Simpson pick. There are a lot of people who don't support the Ty Simpson pick. I'm on the side that I don't support the Ty Simpson pick. I don't think he's going to be a long-term NFL starting quarterback. And I comped him to peak Taylor Heineke, which I think that's a very exciting backup quarterback in the league.
Yeah, solid.
Yes, but I don't think that. I mean, yeah, McVay, maybe he can make anybody work. I don't know. We haven't really seen McVay try to do this like a Kyle Shanahan has. They come from the same tree, but McVay wants a starter who is good. He traded away Jared Goff because he wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And he brought in Matt Stafford. So I just don't see it in Ty Simpson. And in the best case scenario, like Carson said, you will not play him in 2026. You do not need another tight end on this roster, like Carson said, especially with your second pick in a draft where you don't have many picks. You're not even trading back to get more picks. So everything that they did outside of this draft shows we are all in. Then they get into the draft room and they're like, you know what? Let's build for the future. Let's make some crazy out-of-pocket picks that maybe will turn into something 3 years down the road. It's like I don't understand it. At number 13 overall, you could have brought in. I mean, you don't need a Reuben Bain, but you could have brought in a Reuben Bain. Or somebody of that caliber. There were a lot of talented guys. Hell, if I saw that Caleb Downs was falling to number 11 and I had a 13 pick, I would have traded whatever the hell I had to do to get up there and get that.
Yeah, F them picks. I mean,
Yes!
That's what they say out there.
Could have helped you right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm fine with Keegan Tross and C.J. Daniels, but the rest of the picks did not make sense. So D- was the best I could do.
Yeah, you explained pretty much what I'm thinking. I so badly wanted to give him an F, but it's Sean McVay, so D-. I can't take him completely out of the picture there. But yeah, I think D- for exactly what you said. I think they're just acting confused right now and what they really want to do with this team. And not that these guys are bad players. It's just the fit is like, I don't understand what's going on.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. I'm giving them an F.
Okay.
I already expressed my discern in their first two picks. And then that further even gives me... Hang on. I even want to give them an F even further after the Myles Garrett trade, which puts them even further in on this year, trading away the future in Jared Verse, trading away 3 picks in the next 3 upcoming years, and bringing in Myles Garrett, who's 30 or 31 years old. You are all in this year, and this draft is
did nothing for you.
Yeah, like Kian said, they are swapping back and forth, and also, like you guys said, these first 2 picks could have brought them difference makers this year.
I'd have been pissed if I were Matt Stafford and I watched that first-round pick, because right after... Now, Matt Stafford is a guy who's battled with injuries. His back injury is widely known across the NFL landscape. That okay, we need to watch this guy.
Then he went and had an MVP season with it.
Yeah, of course, naturally.
Tempur-Pedic, probably.
Yeah, probably is Tempur-Pedic. But last year, the offensive line it performed very well. But right after, at pick number 14, Vega Ioane went.
Oh.
I would have loved to play quarterback behind Vega Ioane, just in case.
Yeah.
That guy could have helped this year. Maybe you didn't need him. Okay, still. Fine, whatever. He would have made your offensive line better.
Yeah, 100%.
Ty Simpson does not make me better, as if I'm Matt Stafford.
Yeah,
no.
I don't know. You could have done with just about any other position, and I would have been like, okay, I can kind of squint my eyes and see it. But quarterback, no.
You're right.
There's only one on the field.
Yes.
It's not like receiver where you can squeeze them in out 3 receiver set, or running back where you can get creative with the different formations.
Exactly.
Wonder what his sleep number is.
I don't know. It's got to be working.
Yeah, it's got to be working.
Does you have to adjust it with stress? Because if he had to make it more firm or more soft because of the stress, he probably adjusted it quite a bit after this draft.
That thing's got to be custom made. It's got to be.
Yeah.
He's like the face of it.
Yeah. All right, the San Francisco 49ers in the second round, they picked wide receiver Dejon Stribling, in the third, edge Romello Height, also in the third, running back Kalen Black. Oh, rhymed. In the fourth round, defensive tackle Grayson Halton, and offensive tackle Carver Willis, and corner Ephesians Prysock. In the fifth round, linebacker Jaden Duggar, and offensive tackle Enrique Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, say what you want about the actual selection of Dejon Stribling at number 33 overall, which I will get to. But the 49ers injuries, with what their injuries they seem to suffer, they're just one Mike Evans or Ricky Pearsall injury, or both, away from looking like a rough wide receiver core without this Stribling pick. Stribling was my wide receiver 20, and I think he's best at chopping his speed at the line of scrimmage to beat press coverage, then showing off his 4.36 40-yard dash speed to run away from some defensive backs on deep routes. Now, I don't think he deserved to be the 6th wide receiver drafted in this draft because he can get really redirected by contact with his tall and lanky build. He has to chop his steps and really slow down to change directions. Or even make sharp cuts in his routes, or he has to come to a stop. He's not a laterally moving wide receiver. In college, he was mostly a one-trick pony, and maybe that's all they drafted him to be, so that they can use Ricky Pearsall in a variety of ways and use Mike Evans not just as a deep threat, but now in his old age, maybe he's losing some speed. Maybe they're planning for this. I don't know. But number 6 wide receiver off the board, stupid.
Yep.
Their third-round pick was edge Romello Height out of Texas Tech. Now, I understand the target here. They lost all their edge depth behind Micah Williams and Nick Bosa. So they lost Clelin Ferrell, they lost Yetur Gross-Matos, and then Bryce Huff actually retired.
Yeah.
So I like them going with a speed guy here because Micah Williams, very large. Nick Bosa, pretty large. Romello Height, who they drafted, very quick and twitchy. Quick hands, good range, loose hips. He's just very thin, and he's not going to do much in the run game. But I think that's fine for this team, actually. I don't really like the guy as a prospect because I have him down at 18. Keen also has him at 18. So we don't love him. But I think getting a speed guy for this team is the right idea, and we'll see if they can make it work defensively. Their second third-round pick, 20 picks later, was running back Kalon Black out of Indiana. If you guys watched the college football playoff, you probably saw him, and you saw how, what's a nice way to say this? Not special he is.
Yeah.
To me, this just feels like another one of those Kyle Shanahan running backs that starts approximately, I'd say, 2 games a year.
Yeah.
Let me give you some examples. Jordan James, Isaac Grendo, Patrick Taylor Jr.
Yeah.
He drafts these guys kind of late, I think, as insurance to the running back and maybe to get a little rotation there to spell Christian McCaffrey or whoever his stud is.
T-Ron Davis Price.
Yes.
Trey Sermon.
Yes. There's 2 more. So more than likely he's not going to work out. He's just going to be a depth piece. But his feet actually are impressively quick. He's good behind the line of scrimmage to hit the hole hard. But he has 6 college seasons in him. And
Elijah Mitchell.
yes. and you know what you're getting. There's probably a bunch more too.
Okay, in the 4th round now, they picked defensive tackle Grayson Halton from Oklahoma. I think this is Grayson Halton I described him as a real disruptor with a big motor. He always wants to be in on the action. He explodes off the line. He is agile and slippery through the line of scrimmage on those passing snaps. I think he anticipates and tracks well. And his hands and feet work together real smoothly. Like, he doesn't lunge with his hands. He doesn't let his feet get ahead of him. He's got really good, almost great lateral agility. His body control is very well also, and he's always keeping his eyes and head up for that gap to slip through on the line. He's not really great at getting a bunch of leverage. He can get pushed and bounced around like off the block somewhat easily. He's not really large enough size to have a consistent anchor. So a few of those things aren't really great. So we weren't the biggest fans of him, but to bring him in as a depth piece, I think is good because on that line, like they just brought in, for example, Oso Adigizua, who is a very solid tackle.
Like the same role as Grayson Halton.
So to bring in Halton behind him, and hopefully they can kind of work together and Halton kind of learn off of Osa, I think it would be a solid pick. And he's got enough traits about him that I think he can develop into a very solid tackle.
Yes. Another very solid tackle, but on the offensive side is Trent Williams, who is currently still playing at an elite level at the age of 37. He's been over 90 PFF grade for like every single year he's been in the league.
That's nuts.
He's the best left tackle I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But I do like to see that Carver Willis is the backup plan in case of emergency. He only is 303 pounds, which is pretty small, but he does move very well at that size. But his lack of weight also speaks to why he's given up at least 22 pressures in each of his last 2 seasons. And until he gains some more strength, he could be a liability at the NFL level one-on-one against power rushers. But luckily, Jared Verse is gone. But now it's Garrett's.
Luckily.
Great, yeah.
Also, I truly do think you can't have too many cornerbacks, so I don't mind drafting Ephesians Prysock at all. They also have Diamador Lenoir, Renardo Green. I can't talk tonight. Upton Stout, Jack Jones, Nate Hobbs, already in-house. Ephesians Prysock has a fantastic name. He's also got great length. He's 6'3" and 3/8", 196 pounds with 33 and an eighth inch arms. And 9 3/4 inch hands for whatever that's worth. And he's good at using that length to get in passing lanes however he can. He lacks short area quickness, acceleration, and the ability to turn on a dime, but he is great for deep routes. But any routes other than that, he allows separation on cuts until his length can get him back into play, if his length can get him back into play. This grade, I gave it a D- as well. I think that Kyle Shanahan is one of the best coaches in the NFL when it comes to getting the most out of his players. But he never makes it easy on himself. Mm-mm. For years, I have hated the drafting of Kyle Shanahan and his GM, John Lynch, because most of the time, their early round draft picks do not work because they reach for random players that they must like way above consensus, and this year was no different. So
yeah, I gave them a D for exactly as you what you already explained. I mean, the running back thing, and then yeah, just I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the other guys either, and the wide receiver early. I don't know. I think just D.
I'm going D as well. I like the target of the first 2 picks, but I don't like the player that they went with there. And I actually like Grayson Halton.
Yeah.
So, outside like you guys said, Kyle Shanahan, you got to trust the guy, but
Hard.
I don't really like the players here, so D.
Moving on to the Seattle Seahawks to wrap it up. In the first round, they picked running back Jadarian Price. In the second round, safety Bud Clark. In the third round, they picked corner Julian Neal. In the fifth, guard Bo Stevens. Where was that? In the sixth round, wide receiver Emmanuel Henderson Jr. In the seventh, corner Andre Fuller. Also in the seventh, defensive tackle Devin Eastern. And also in the seventh, they picked corner Michael Dansby. So that first round pick there, running back Jadarian Price from Notre Dame to wrap up that first round pick, 32 overall, to hopefully fill the role of a
Ken Walker.
I almost said Charbonnet, but Carburetor's still there. So
He's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt. So Jadarian Price, along with his running mate Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price plays a somewhat different type of role here. He's got good feet, good size. I like his balance and his power to bounce off of and break tackles. He's your tackle breaking machine type of running back. Quick through the line. Whenever he's close to the end zone, he's got the nose for it. He's going to find his way there. I like his vision. He's very hard to bring down, and he also doubles as a really good return man too. He's super fun to watch. He just never seems to go down on that first or even second contact, which you got to love in a running back. He's not your fastest guy out there. He's not really as great with pass protection. He doesn't really have a whole lot of receiving work. And sure, he's got a few fumble issues here and there. Like, those are the big negative things. But if you're looking for your true running back guy that's going to get good yardage, find the end zone for you, and kind of be a jack of all trades type of running back in a way, and just break tackles, this is your guy. And I think he'll be a decent fill-in / addition to that running back room, kind of playing it's a different role than Ken Walker was in a way. Just a different play style type of guy. So maybe not a different role, but different play style.
It's his backfield to begin the year.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's his job to lose.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It'll be interesting to see what happens once season comes around.
And the carburetor comes back.
Carburetor.
In the second round, they got safety Bud Clark from TCU. Older guy, 6-year senior. He's not really one to... He doesn't pop off the page. It's like, holy crap, this guy's like Kyle Hamilton or something like that. He's not that type of guy, but he's incredibly versatile. He's had 15 interceptions in his last 4 seasons, which two were pick sixes. Yeah, ball hawking type of safety here. I like his diagnosing too. I think he diagnoses very well and reacts very well to his diagnosis. Sure. Yeah.
Doctor.
Yeah. He is like ball hawking, but he also kind of plays like a receiver. Like with that ball hawking, he's got the hands of a wide receiver to get those interceptions. He's not really one. He kind of relies on that a little bit too. He might be out of position a little bit, so relies on those hands. I'm not really a huge fan of that, but I think he'll be a decent addition to a safety room that is already okay-ish, but let's just give some depth and possible starting time and play time. Well, probable play time. But so I think he'll be a good fit with just that ball hawking type of safety in the back end.
In round 3, pick 99, they went with cornerback Julian Neal out of Arkansas. And I like how they doubled down on the secondary here, 2 picks in a row, because they hardly had any losses over the offseason. Just Kenneth Walker, as we already addressed. They lost Boy Mafe, but then they lost Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant. So they need some more depth here. And then, so they draft Julian Neal. Julian Neal has great length and weight. He wins in physical battles at the line of scrimmage, helps in the run game, and he wins some jump balls downfield using that strength. But just not a great athlete. He's laterally slow and tight hips, average long speed, doesn't really have a great downhill burst. But he is large, and he's suited well to help in the run game and even maybe slow large receivers or tight ends. For that, I'd like him to convert to safety, but it doesn't look like they're going to be doing that with him. They're going to be trying to play him as a true corner, and I would like them to go with a true corner here at that position to replace Tariq Woolen. Someone like a Keith Abney or I think Traden Stukes was still there. So to go with Julian Neal seems like it kind of seems like a Nick Emanwari pick to me. It seems like a very large guy that they're going to play in coverage, and maybe it'll work for him. But
just a way worse athlete.
Yeah, definitely way worse athlete. Yeah, so we'll see.
As I like to say, he's a true Steelers cornerback there.
Whoa.
They just didn't get him.
Yeah.
Bo Stevens in the 5th round, thankfully. Bo Stevens in the 5th. Obviously, the Seahawks O-line performed well enough last year to win them a Super Bowl. But it was just 2 short years ago in 2024 when they had one of the worst O-lines in the NFL. We were talking about how they only drafted, or they only used their first-round pick to draft Gray Zabel, and then they just ran the rest of it, ran it back, and it worked. So can't say anything, but their right tackle, Abe Lucas, and their left tackle, Charles Cross, have been known to miss time with injuries. Plus, the interior O-line still graded out to be just kind of average in 2025. They're fine if those tackles stay healthy. But if they don't, we've seen this shit hit the fan. So I do love the idea of bringing in Bo Stevens as insurance. So Stevens is he's a fun player because he plays with fire. He's a bowling ball who wants to hit those bowling pins. Short arms, 31 and an eighth inches. But you wouldn't know it in the run game. His driving feet get him where he needs to be, and the arm length is never really a problem. In pass pro, he's been pretty inconsistent throughout his college career. That's where the arm length thing comes in. But he's a nice developmental piece for them to add along this O-line. The rest of these guys that they drafted, Emmanuel Henderson's like a return guy, and then they just stocked up on cornerback depth and defensive tackle depth, positions that those guys probably won't play. But, I mean, hey, might as well take the shots and see if you find something in these guys. Sometimes you find a sleeper. So, like a Reek Woolen was one day. Mm-hmm. But overall, I gave this draft class a B+. I feel like they didn't have many holes to begin with. And I think that Jadarian Price, I don't think he's first-round worthy, and I would have rather had them maybe draft a corner earlier. But I think that Jadarian Price is going to come in and be an immediate good, solid to good starting running back for them like week 1. I think that he's got real talent. And everybody else is just like depth pieces. I do like Bud Clark, though, as well. So B+. Maybe it's a little high, but I trust the reigning world champions.
Yes, well said.
World champions.
Yeah. I give them a B. So I'm kind of right along with you. I think any spots that they did have a little bit of need for, I think they went right at. Jadarian Price, I think he'll be good there. I'm a fan of his. I like Bud Clark for the safety position, like Kean said. I think that, and then with those depth pieces, they aren't flashy, but they didn't really need flashy. That they didn't really lose. I mean, they lost some. They definitely lost some pieces, but they didn't lose enough that it's like, oh no, we need to make a whole bunch of moves right now and rebuild everything. I think they went at it very directly. Like, hey, where do we need things? Let's go get it. And they did that. Mm-hmm. B.
I'm going to go C because I like how they addressed their biggest losses through the offseason. I like Jadarian Price, I like Bud Clark. Julian Neal, I think you could have went with a more true corner. But I would have liked them to draft an edge as well. Right now, their rushing specialist is DeMarcus Lawrence and Dante Fowler Jr., who leave much to be desired. And across from them, they have Leonard Williams, who really outperformed what was expected of him last year, and outside of that, they don't have a lot of pass rush. I think to have a great team, you need that elite pass rush, and they just don't have that guy that's going to get to the quarterback when you need it on third down. So looking at that, I'm actually surprised how well they did last year. They really relied on their coverage because they weren't getting pressure on the quarterback, I guess. So I would have liked to see an edge rusher, but I like how they address the other needs.
Okay, that wraps up our NFC draft grades from 2026. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure if you haven't, go check out our AFC draft grades video also.
It will get posted.
Yeah, it might already be posted.
Yes.
Yeah, by the time
it will be, yeah.
Yeah. So go check that out. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one.